Teşekkür ederim. Started. ऑडियो क्या आ रहा है?
परफेक्ट आ रहा है ऑडियो.
क्या आ रहा है ऑडियो?
Ladies and gentlemen, we also need for energy governance and agriculture requirements. And the way we start the all of you will take a seat.
It's my pleasure to request the Honorable Minister to launch the Energy Center of Excellence and Incubation Center KPTCL and also the Technology Innovation Center TESCOM. Yeah. Here it is.
Honorable Minister, Mr. Ravi Kumar, Mr. Kapoor, Mr. Hediger, when I listened to the speech this morning, I thought, when I heard Finance Minister Jaitley, that your task has just become more difficult, because he said Karnataka needs to grow and will grow 3% faster than the rest of India. That also means more power. That is the difficult challenge. The good news is, I think Germany can be a partner in helping to achieve that challenge, to use power more efficiently, to use more renewables, and to set up a state-of-the-art energy system. Why I believe that Germany can achieve that is because we are ourselves in the midst of a paradigm shift in our energy policy. And that will take some years, and I think our experiences and our technology can also provide best practices for Karnataka. And that's why I would like to say some words about this German energy transition. That means that we shift from a conventional energy supply system based on fossil, coal, gas, oil and nuclear energy to a more flexible and decentralized renewables, wind, solar, bioenergy, hydropower. The transport sector consumes a vast share of energy. Sustainable mobility, for example, with biofuels and transport, electric mobility, hybrid cars, and a coherent transport system shall lower overall emissions. The energy market reform also ensures that renewables are better integrated to the energy markets. Another point is, I think here it's a big difference to India, but it underscores the challenge we face, is the nuclear phase out. In 2022, the last German nuclear plant will be phased out, and we have to urgently upgrade our system and also increase the share of renewables. Also, what we foresee
a crucial role. So we are happy also that we could support the government of India with the Green Energy Corridor to improve the infrastructure and transmission, and also with our colleagues from GIZ how to deal with the volatility of the renewable. So these programs since 2018 we could support the government of India with the Green Energy Corridor to improve the infrastructure and transmission, and also with our colleagues from GIZ.
Intensity in the economy and to decouple the growth of the economy from the energy demand.
And last year we also signed
how to deal with the volatility of the renewable energy source.
where
So,
we're looking into potential
These programs since 2008.
we have the concept of Canal Top and
that we are to support the government of India with the green energy corridor.
with all the constraints of water use and security. And the crucial role also for us in the solar partnership is also to develop programs to support the solar rooftop concept. So right now we are in discussion with banks, financial intermediary, how to design special loan programs and how to handle the quality issues to really foster these investments in the long run, to really to safeguard banks, how to assess their projects, also that we can guarantee the economic value of these investments. So these are the main focus we are dealing right now.
To improve the infrastructure and transmission,
To reduce
and also with our colleagues
we are happy
some GI
intensity in the economy and to decouple the growth of the economy. Concepts. Thank you very much. How to assess their projects, also that we can guarantee the economic value of these investments. So these are the main focus we are dealing right now.
to improve the infrastructure and transmission, and also with our
Close to 3 decades of experience in various authorities, ladies and gentlemen.
colleagues
We are happy
some GI
intensity in the economy and to decouple the growth of the economy. Concepts. Thank you very much. How to assess their projects, also that we can guarantee the economic value of these investments. So these are the main focus we are dealing right now.
to improve the infrastructure and transmission.
Dignitaries on the dais, the delegates for this today's session on 2,000 megawatts. No one has even thought of that world over. The largest single plant in the world is in US. It's just 540 megawatts. So this is indeed commendable. And then in the recent, maybe I would say just last 6 months, participate in every scheme which Government of India has brought. So Karnataka has participated in the bids for this today's session on energy. My topic for today is to talk about challenges in integration. Second important thing to look at is hydropower. Hydropower helps in balancing the grid. If we have power plants with storage, then nothing like it. It's really good. We can have some pump storage. Pump storage is really expensive, but then if you look at the full scenario in the grid, then in the long run it will at various places. It has to be well planned, and they will buy power at say 2 rupees when the power is very cheap, and they will sell power at say just the markup of 2 rupees is required. Currently the cost of storage comes to around 2 rupees. So if they buy at 2 rupees, is managed very well, and there is no undue loss or undue wastage or undue benefit or problem in managing the grid. So this is something that IO storage comes to around 2 rupees. So if they buy at 2 rupees, one major thing is that the power has to be allowed to flow across the grid. The power has to be allowed to flow across the entire country.
Integration of renewable energy in the grid is not something which one should be afraid of.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shri Dharan, for a highly positive note, particularly with respect to Karnataka, having the biggest plant in the world. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the podium function is presided over by the Honorable Minister for Energy of Karnataka, Shri D.K. Shivkumar, who is a born leader. And please note that he has been elected to
Officers from the
department, my media friends, ladies and gentlemen.
He said one thing. World leaders from China, Japan, Poland, and all of them had visited India within a span of 2-3 months. Earlier, world leaders used to come to Delhi, and then they used to fly to Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, leaders from China, Hyderabad, and whichever destination they had visited. But the situation has come in a span of 2-3 months. The world leaders first flying to Bangalore, and then they are coming to Delhi. This is because of Karnataka and its government. As you know that the situation has have a different culture, Bangalore, and then they are coming to knowledge hub. I think the manpower what Karnataka has, more than 220 engineering colleges, professional medical colleges, more than 100 medical colleges, more than about 230 diploma institutes. So manpower is available in abundant, which is very much needed for the entire industry. I think this has brought Karnataka on the world map. When on 2-3 occasions, the President of America has warned various leaders all over the world that we are afraid of Bangalore and Karnataka. It may take over China. So this is what the world leaders are looking at. Today coming to our energy sector, we know that I think you all have come forward to participate in this global investors meet, hoping that we will definitely be a part of nation's development. We are committed. We know that we can see through Karnataka India's growth, because with this very big experiences which you all have earlier. Though electricity is essential for the economic development, therefore the term of electricity is the foundation stone of industrial economy, and also provides essential integrated for almost all human activities. However, many factors play a role in influencing energy supply, which is availability, the price, accessibility, and the state government has an important role in this sector. Energy throughout Karnataka being the 7th state in the generation capacity in this country has set an ambitious target to increase the energy capacity from conventional to all well non-conventional sources to meet the growing energy requirement days to come. The expected additional for this conventional power in the immediate near future is about 3,000 megawatts from the state generating sector, and 1,500 megawatts from the central sector. So state is also to procure about 1,000 megawatts on long term on competitive bidding. The present installed capacity in the state is about 5,200 megawatts in renewable energy. The state is also addressing the green energy by amending the renewable energy policies, and the solar policies to attract the investment has already been expressed by the union minister's representative. The state has already, as Mr. Tarun Thakur mentioned, is coming out with the biggest solar park in the world. I think after the new land acquisition bill which has come out in the center, without acquiring a single acre of land, 1,000 acre of land has been committed by the farmer to the government on equity participation, that means on rental scheme. We are paying 21,000 rupees per acre to a farmer per year, and the entire 12,000 acres of farmer has voluntarily been given by this farming community, which has shown a benchmark and the entire country was looking at the policy. So I'm sure already with the new deep conversion, on the registration, on various whichever the policies we have come on this solar policy, already about 3,000 acres has been registered. 3,000 acres has already been registered. I think within the next 1.5 months, the entire 12,000 acres will be registered. Already NTPC and other partners who have been participating, they have already called for the bid. I think it will be a very successful story, and Karnataka will be on the world map on this sector. I'm very happy. I would like to thank all my officers' team who has made it possible, and the government of India, they were confident with us, especially the secretary who is there, sitting at Delhi. He also has expressed his confidence. The minister has expressed his confidence that we will be able to stand up to their commitment. And I think with this 2,000 megawatt park which has been set up, it will set a benchmark, and we will see that it will make it possible. And on the distribution side also, on the distributed generation for solar, about 2,000, already tenders have been called for various other sector. We have Karnataka government has initiated a popular one scheme called Surya Raita, which is that again the country is looking at. In this Surya Raita scheme for these farmers, we are providing pump set to the farmers, where we are encouraging farmers to have energy efficient pump set, and through grid connected. And I think normally the farmers use about 100 and 200 days. The rest 150 days, the solar pump set will be lying free. So we want them to earn money. So we have decided, I think we are giving them about 9 rupee 56 paisa if they have no benefit. If they have taken any benefit from the government, it is 7 rupee 56 paisa will be given to the farmers. This is a very innovative scheme, and a pilot project has been taken over already by Karnataka government, and we are encouraging this solar rooftop also. By 2018 we are planning for about 400 megawatt. I think still 9 rupee 56 paisa holds in Karnataka, I think still, which is the highest in the country. We want to encourage. So still I am sure we have requested our regulatory commission to just hold on. Though the entire in the country the prices have dipped a lot, but still we want Karnataka, we want to encourage in Karnataka. I think all of us will work towards that. And as per the government of India studies, Karnataka has a potential of about 30,000 megawatt for wind power. I think as early as possible we will be coming out with a new policy on wind, about repowering the old machines, and further to promote renewable energy on the environment growth. We want to have we have already come out with a simplified land purchase and conversion procedure, which anyone can purchase land, and the government, deputy commissioners will have a permission till about 50 acres. When it comes to the 100 acres, if it comes to the state government about 200 acres, about 200 acres will reach the cabinet. I think already the process is on. And the deemed conversion also, we had some little bit hiccups at the initial level. There were a lot of demand, and we had discussed with our industrial friends. Looking at their suggestions, we are sorting out. We have kept a separate cell to see that all these type of problems we have solved. In order to encourage this solar photovoltaic developers and who are having factories, I think we came out with a bid for 1,200 megawatt for in 60 taluks with 20 megawatt for distributed generation. There I think we allotted about 5 taluks for who have their manufacturing unit, and they will be given a separate
remarks. And let me confess, for me, Karnataka is home. So while there were many states which were developing renewable in the last 20 years, for us, we looked at many states, but found Karnataka to be the most investor-friendly in terms of renewable energy. Since the inception of renewable energy, the first one that came up in 1992, we were the first one to do it in Karnataka. And then on, we have found three things very good. One is the tariff policies have always been good. The grid has always been good. And payments have been good. So what more do you want? So that's why we are stuck in, we have continued to grow in Karnataka, maybe with a small amount in other places. But I would like to now hear from the other panel members. We have heard from the Minister, the Secretary and everybody, and also Government of India, that how they are moving forward in the renewable sector and the great growth plans, whether under JNSSM or the Prime Minister's program of 1,75,000 megawatt by 2022. And the projection about Karnataka alone having a capacity of more than 50,000 in wind and 30,000 in solar, of which hardly we have even touched 10% of it. So the potential is there. And also everybody praised that 2,000 megawatt scheme, what has come up, and the unique one. So now I would like Mr. Balram to sort of explain why there are friendly policies of KRADL, the first nodal agency to be set up. What is the way forward in this 2,000 megawatt and how do you see it going forward?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I am asked to be very specific on the question, but before that I will just mention what is the potential that is available in Karnataka, though it's a repetition. The 55,837 megawatts is the wind potential that is existing in Karnataka with a hub height of about 100 meters. Solar, as you all know, sky is the limit. The land becomes the limiting factor because every megawatt of solar requires about 5 acres. And we have a very good solar radiation, and in fact the solar policy of Karnataka has been hailed as one of the best policy in the country. Be it rooftop, be it grid connected rooftop, solar policy for pumps, Surya Rayita scheme, and a unique policy where 300 megawatts was allocated to land-owning farmers, which has been the driving force behind announcing of a policy from Government of India that is for both farmers and unemployed youth. Coming to Karnataka Solar Park, which is one of the biggest solar parks in the country, or rather world, because the biggest existing solar park is in US, that is about 500 megawatts. We are talking about 2,000 megawatt solar park. It is a very, very ambitious project where we are acquiring land on lease basis from the farmers. We are not purchasing any land, and 12,000 acres of land has been voluntarily offered by the farmers in Pavagada, Tumkur district, which has the highest radiation levels. The land acquisition is in progress. NTPC has already called for tenders for 1,600 megawatts, and the rest of 400 megawatts is going to be allocated to KPC, which is going to come up with tenders shortly. PGCL has already tendered for setting up a 400 by 220 kV substation. KSPDCL, which is the joint venture company which has been set up to develop this park, a joint venture of Credle and Solar Energy Corporation of India, is developing the infrastructure for this solar park. We have already tendered for setting up of 8 numbers of 220 by 66 kV substations, which will be evacuating this power generated from this park. The last date for submission of bids for this tender is in February 10th, and we already had a pre-bid meeting, and the land will be made available to NTPC and other developers in a matter of just another 1.5 months. The land lease is a laborious process. Daily about 40 to 50 lease agreements have been signed in the past 2-3 weeks. and we hope to complete all this registration by the middle of at least March. So, apart from this, we have already invited bids for setting up of 20 megawatts each in 60 taluks. This is distributed generation. We have got response, but unfortunately for 12 taluks we have not received bids. The evaluation is in progress. We will soon award all these contracts. Our letter of awards will be issued in the month of March. And SECI has already initiated tenders for setting up of distributed generation again. That is on a VGF scheme of 1,000 megawatts of solar. And the capacity that is going to be added in the next 2 years, if all this put together, totaling around 5,200 megawatts of solar will be added to the grid in the next 2 years alone, if all these tenders are realized. There is a big opportunity for all the investors to come in. Apart from this, towards ease of doing business, the Karnataka government has come out with a unique land conversion and land reform policy, where the land is made available for the developers and the conversion is deemed. You will have to only pay the conversion fine and you can start the project. This is a very, very unique policy that has been brought out by the government of Karnataka, and all the investors are requested to utilize this opportunity, which is coming in a big way in solar and wind sector in Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you so much. On one side, we have just discovered the potential, and the other side, we see the friendly regulation policies, which is most investor friendly. So I would request the KERC chairman to touch upon some of these friendly policies, and also touch upon a very interesting subject which I keep talking about. Since a lot of wind and solar are coming, can there be a way for a hybrid policy in Karnataka to encourage better land use and electrical system?
Thanks, Chandrasekhar. Friends, KERC is friendly. He said investment-friendly announcements of the Commission. We would like to make it clear that the physical infrastructure available, which Mr. Balram just now spoke about, the new solar park in Pavagada, is a physical infrastructure, and Karnataka is blessed with very good infrastructure. Either, as Ravi Kumar said, imported coal thermal power plants if you want to do. We have 300 kilometers of the coast, and the solar radiation is very ideal. Hydro generation is there. We have multiple opportunities in Karnataka, physical infrastructure opportunities. The soft, infrastructure comes from the regulation. This Commission would like to encourage new investment and also encourage the investment in the existing units. You would be aware that in the recent policy announced by Government of India recently on 28th of January, they have allowed 100% expansion. If you are operating within Karnataka, 100% expansion is allowed without competitive bidding. You can't think of a better opportunity than that to expand yourself. In that backdrop, we have standardized the PPAs. We have, the regulations necessary for investment in both solar and wind energy. The rooftop regulations have been announced. I am also trying to tweak the regulation in order to encourage the gross metering. Net metering, you are all aware. Gross metering also we would like to add, so that the third-party investment can be made. Mr. Chandrasekhar spoke about the hybrid generation. USAID, I'm sure you would have heard about it, they have done a study on that. They believe that the infrastructure created for the wind energy evacuation can be used for evacuation of the solar energy as well. When wind is very strong in Karnataka, solar radiation comes down during the monsoon period. And once the monsoon is over and wind is weak, the solar takes over. And therefore, creation of the grid hybrid grid for evacuation of power, both for solar as well as the wind from the same place. We would like to have the regulation for that and a favorable regulation for the people who are already operating. For the wind energy operators, I am sure you would be aware that the Government of India again has brought in this new policy, modernization and renovation. That's for the existing operators. If you want to do capital investment in that, we would like to bring in a regulation where we can encourage you to do the capital investment and get proper returns, which is going to encourage, and the A-grade, the sites that are there should be tapped. In that backdrop, I would like to assure you, we cannot create regulations to suit any individual. However, the request or the concern of the individual concerns can also be addressed if there are any peculiar circumstances. Otherwise, the regulations are quite friendly. We would like to go with you and ensure that the investment desired by Government of India. Government of India has set huge targets, both for solar as well as the other sector. If we are able to contribute from Karnataka towards creation of this, we would like to put in our might and encourage investment in Karnataka in a big way. You are welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. It's very heartening to note that you'll be working on a hybrid. That's very nice. There are many people who would like to get into that. Now, we have heard from the government and the regulator, and you as a major developer in wind and probably looking at solar, I'm sure you must have faced challenges, but yet you find Karnataka as a friendly state. Could you just elaborate your experience as a developer?
Thank you, Chandrasekhar. Just wanted to introduce ourselves. I mean, we are a Spanish multinational, Acciona Energy. We're the fourth largest IPP in the world outside of China. We have more than about 9,500 megawatts of only renewable assets. So we do not do conventional energy. We are only into renewable energy. And it's one of our largest divisions in the company. Also a profitable division, so it's possible to make money out of renewable energy too. When we, being a Spanish company, India was alien to us 10 years ago, and we were struggling to diversify worldwide, and then we decided why not take a look at India at a time when the policy was more favorable towards the accelerated depreciation customers and not IPPs. But we still decided to come to India and take a look. We looked at all the states across India and then chose Karnataka to be our first state to enter, because at that time it had probably the best wind and the best tariff in terms of feed-in tariff. A combination of these two was probably the best in the country. Fortunately for us, we came up with a small project which was a 30 megawatt wind farm in Karnataka, and that wind farm, I'm proud to say, has been operational for the last 6 years. It has consistently won the award for the best wind farm in the state of Karnataka and Andhra put together from the Indian Wind Power Association. So it's one of the top generating wind farms in this state. That gave us the confidence, and we decided then to do a second wind farm, which again turned out to be very good. And then we said, no, now is the time to, seriously look at India and decide whether we should do long-term projects here. So we've chosen India as one of our favorite countries to do renewable energy. And Karnataka has the largest share of it. We have almost upwards of 700 megawatts under various stages of development as well as construction. We are now constructing a 240 megawatt wind farm in the north of Karnataka, and we are doing almost 400 megawatts under various stages of development. So Karnataka is a big chunk. Of course, we are also looking at other states. In the meantime, we've also decided to start manufacturing our wind turbines in India. And we have a 3 megawatt wind turbine, which is the wind turbine that we are bringing to India. It will be the largest wind turbine manufactured in India, with 125 meter rotor dia, 120 meter hub height, suitable for Indian conditions, wind conditions. And we hope that we'll be able to do well in the Indian wind sector. We have a precedent of some of our Spanish colleagues who have now become Gamesa, who has become #1 in India, and that has given us some bit of confidence that even we can do well, because we are competing with them and also partnering with them in many parts of the world. So, Karnataka for us is the future. I mean, we are here to stay. It's a long-term game for us. We are seriously looking at solar too, because we are, again, technology agnostic as far as our renewable portfolio is concerned. However, what we see is some of the solar prices that are being bid out are extremely aggressive, and the parties that bid out and get one deal suddenly do not participate in the subsequent deal. So we are a little skeptical about the prices and whether it is possible to become profitable, but we are definitely here in Karnataka to stay on the long term. We, of course, have problems being a developer, trying to develop projects, being an IPP. One of the problems that we face is, of course, land, acquisition of land, both whether it is forest land or whether it is private land, conversion from agricultural to non-agricultural. I think, we need to seriously look at easing the process, because it's a time-consuming process. When we look at Andhra Pradesh, for example, there it is much easier, because for renewables, they made it a deemed non-agricultural by just paying a fee. And if something like that can be extended into Karnataka for renewable projects, it would bring down the time to do a project considerably, by almost a year, I think. We can fast track our projects in Karnataka if this is looked at. So far we've not had problems with payments, but if Karnataka happens to go into renewables in a big way, we hope that you look at the financial strengths of the ESCOMs to ensure that at least we get our payments in time. Some of the policies that Karnataka has are extremely progressive, as Mr. Shivkumar was talking, but these policies can still be tweaked to ensure longevity. I mean, when you want a person to invest in a wind farm for 25 years, there has to be a policy which will be at least consistent during the time when you take a loan from the bank. And this policy should be at least for 10 or 14 years. For example, the cross-subsidy surcharge that is levied can be, not on a year-on-year basis, but if there is a bit of, I would say, clarity in having this subsidy surcharge for a longer period fixed, then we can take much more aggressive stances and invest far more in Karnataka. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Again, I heard you say that you want to get into manufacturing. I think the minister here should do it in Karnataka. So I'm sure you will get the required land or whatever it is.
Just a minute. Yeah, just to say about the manufacturing part, we have a factory which we have put up in Bijapur to manufacture our towers. So we invested almost about 50 crores there, and which is about $8 million. And we have got almost 150 people working, will be working in that factory right now. It has just finished construction, and we are ramping up our production there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Glenn. Mr. Arun Sundaram is the CTO of Tata Solar. While opportunities in the solar sector are enormous, so are the challenges today. And one of the key ones is how to get a more efficient technology at a lesser price, given that there's a lot of pressure on the pricing today for solar energy. So what are your views as a major solar player who has a manufacturing facility in Bangalore? Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. Actually, since I'm seeing the Minister and the Mr. Balram first time, I want to personally thank them for the module manufacturer opportunity in the 100 megawatts. So we were very pleasantly surprised when we saw this tender with the 5 taluks allocated for module manufacturers. And I know we have already submitted those bids, but we wanted to thank you because there was a proactive effort from your side without much any request from us, and it was a commitment from you to make in India and make in Karnataka. And sir, we are committed. We have been in Karnataka for 25 years, and we continue to invest here, and we hope to expand more with your support on manufacturing facilities in Karnataka. So to Mr. Chandrasekhar's question, and I think the Glenn's reference, yes, certainly I know the last tender was around 6 to 7 rupees, and currently people are bidding at 4.34. What is that magic technology that has happened in the last year? Honestly, I don't have that magic technology. Certainly there's been a fair amount of financial engineering that is happening that allows certain players to bid aggressively. But is it sustainable and is it scalable? I think that's a different question. So, but how do we get to that 4.5? What are the things that can get to 4.5? It's not here today, but what can get there maybe in a year or two? And I want to distinguish two things here. One is the panel efficiency, and the second is the generation efficiency of the same panel. And I think on the panel efficiency, certainly there are rapid improvements in the primary technology, which is the multicrystalline silicon. So there is a potential to increase the efficiency maybe 5%. So that reduces your balance of system cost by 5%, your module cost by 5%. So certainly that can bring you a 20-30% improvement. And then in terms of generation, how do we improve the generation from the existing panel without increasing costs? So certainly there are technologies where you can change your panels with, instead of the diodes, you use slightly different components to improve the optimization so that your panels can produce 5 to 8% more without a big increment in cost. I think there are certain technologies that are emerging in that area. Of course, the second area is the tracker. Can I get a tracking system, particularly in Karnataka and the south of India? A tracking system can give you a 17-18% higher efficiency with maybe a smaller cost increase. And I think to indigenization of those tracking systems at cost points that are more relevant for India, I think that can also help in reducing these cost structures. So I would say these two are the immediate trends. In terms of long term, of course, the question is how do I convert my home into a solar? Can I have a blanket of solar panels? You know, those are things that as a Tata Group here made some investments in advanced technologies on flexible CIGS, which is done on polyimide material, which can be mounted quite easily on surfaces, on homes, and so on and so forth. You can construct a shamiana with it, and it reduces the balance of system cost. So these technologies, of course, are yet to emerge, and I hope we get to we are piloting this in Switzerland, and I hope we get an opportunity to do this manufacturing in Karnataka when the program concludes. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Mariasundaram is head of the Technology Center for GE Power. Mr. Mariasundaram, over the years, the wind sector has attained a lot of traction, and many more players have entered the sector, both in manufacturing and development. But now what is left out is only the low wind sites. And there is a pressure on forecasting, number two. And then lastly, given that the solar prices are falling down and wind is now getting higher than the solar, now these three things are going to be a pressure point for the wind sector. So as a big player in the wind sector, how does GE propose to deal with it?
Thank you, Mr. Chandrasekhar. At the outset, one thing I feel very happy to be here today because when I was looking at the presentation on the energy in Karnataka, I think 1902 was when the first power production in the country as well as in Shivanasamudram, and we have been associated with Karnataka from that time on in setting up the first power production as GE. So coming to the question, specific question around, how do we really continue to make the sector attractive? with the challenges coming from the solar sector. I think 2 or 3 things which we feel is continue to push the technology around forecasting and scheduling, and I'm happy to say that, as GE, we were very actively engaged with both the Karnataka government as well as with other state governments in terms of really pushing the technology in terms of improving the accuracy of forecasting and scheduling. And definitely some of the outcome of those pilot studies have really formed a page in the form of regulators' recommendations, which actually is good. I think what would be a next step is continuing to harmonize those regulations across the different states so that we continue to build data around this particular overall forecasting and scheduling so that we can make the sector more predictable. And then the thoughts around hybrid, I think, will make it really much more attractive as well, because we have been also looking at a pilot around the hybrid solar and wind, where, as Mr. Shankarlinga Gowda said, I think, the ability to really include a solar evacuation as a part of the wind evacuation is possible. I think we have also studied that, and we feel that it is doable, and it actually provides a very attractive proposition there. Second, I would say is, I think, continuing to really use, I think today we are in the Industrial Revolution 4.0, using data and analytics to really look at the overall farm, existing farms as well as the new farms, in terms of how do we really use wind data, which is continuously getting streamed and continuously coming day by day, to really look at how can we really improve the overall annual energy production. And I think we have been very actively partnering with our customers, partners, in terms of making that real. And we feel that, I think, replicating that kind of success stories across existing wind farms as well as in new wind farms will really make the sector more attractive and attractive for the developers as well. And the third one I would say is, I think technology should continue to focus on grid management. I heard from Mr. Tarun Kapoor saying that, grid management is not a difficult thing. I think we believe so. In terms of technology, it is doable. Integrating storage, integrating wind, solar, and then also having an integration with the base load plant. I think how do we really do this efficiently using efficient grid management is going to be key as well. So I think looking at the kind of opportunity I see from the pitches which we saw, the speeches which we heard, I think huge amount of wind capacity opportunity in this state. And I'm happy to say that I think we kind of pushed the low wind speed technology in this state for the first time, where we partnered with our customers, Buruka, in terms of implementing the low wind speed technology. And really, from our engineering team in this city, very own city in Bangalore. So the wind engineers from Bangalore work with our customer to really make this low wind speed technology real. And I think we want to continue to push that. So my feeling is, I think, summarize, we need to continue to make the developers' investments more, I think, returnable, attractive for them, at the same time for the customers, to really push the technology to make it happen.
Thank you. I don't have much of...
Waste. Huh? While talking about this new policy, revised policy, tariff policy, 2 elements have been added. I forgot to mention them. For the investors, those who are putting up thermal power plant closer to the city, treated water can be used, sewage water can be used now, and the cost of treatment will be passed through. That means in the tariff it will be added. In that backdrop, those who want to do investment closer to the load center like Bangalore, whether it is Biddi or Alanka or whatever, you can participate in a big way because it's going to, yield. Then waste to energy. Bangalore is known for 2 things. We produce a lot of waste a day and also wastewater. Wastewater is taken care of by this treated, thermal plant coming up. Waste to energy plants, if you are putting up, 100% purchase is compulsory for the DISCOM, and favorable tariff definitely can be considered if you are putting up plants here in Bangalore. These 2 things I thought I would mention for the investors who are interested in putting up plants closer to Bangalore.
Thank you so much. Since it's an investors meet, I will fail in my duty if I don't go to the floor. But paucity of time, only 2 questions, and that too directed towards Mr. Balram or the regulator. Just 2 questions, since from investors. And no comments, no observations.
Hello. We are from Tribulus Aditya Powers from Chennai. It's not a question. We are happy to be here and we are participating in this Global Solar Summit after doing analysis for 1 year in almost all the states where we can put in our investment. And finally, in the past 4 months, we decided we'll work only in Karnataka because of the policy and the investor-friendly relationship. And we are happy to say that we have submitted a proposal for 600 megawatt solar power at an investment of 4,200 crore, and we hope to sign the MOU. And we are willing to do more in all the participate in all the government policies and in the solar power. Thank you, sir.
Just one more from wherever it is, and that will be the last.
Sir, good afternoon and thank you very much for this opportunity. My name is Jilani. This question is for the Chief Secretary and the Minister and the panel sitting there on the top. See, I am putting up a sugar plant in Gulbarga and I have a bagasse-based power being generated, and also my factory rooftop is coming up to 25 acres. Now, we are a team of IIT and IIM guys. We have created a model where we want to have a rooftop on the factory. And I'm not aware under what regulation or conditions or under what process my PPA will be signed. I'm not aware of it because it's a factory and it's a huge rooftop with very well technology laid. So I want some clarity here. Is there a provision? Thank you very much.
Yeah, we have a very good rooftop policy. I think it's on the website. You can go through. One is that if it is a very large rooftop and if you are able to generate more than what you can consume, you get paid at 9.56 rupees. And actually, even if you don't generate enough to put back to the grid, it still makes sense for you because if it is an industry, the industrial tariff is much more than the cost of putting up solar plant today. Because you will be able to generate power at about around 6 rupees. If you look at even if it is a smaller plant, it's less than 6 rupees it costs you to generate. And if you are paying anything more than that, it makes sense for you to go for rooftop. Don't use the rooftop, don't waste the rooftop. You can generate your own power, connect it to the grid, so that whenever there is no consumption in the plant that you are running, this goes to the grid and grid becomes your storage point. You do not have to have any storage. The PPA can be signed with the DISCOM. Where is your plant located?
Gulbarga.
Please get in touch with MD GESCOM. He will be able to help you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
This 20 megawatts plan, I'm here. This 20 megawatts for each taluk of 1,200. You mentioned you didn't get for 5 taluks. Could you tell, and any new entrepreneur can come into action and sign for that?
No, if it is through a bid, if there has been no response in some particular taluks, it will be rebid. It cannot be offered on any other mode. If 12 taluks we have not received bids, out of the 60 taluks we have tendered, I don't know for what reason, there has been a very good response in the pre-bid meeting, and I don't know why we didn't receive the bids for those 12 taluks. But in total, we have received bids amounting to a capacity of 2,500 megawatts against the capacity of 1,200 megawatts. Though there has been no bid in some taluks, the bidding is 5 times, 6 times. So up to 140 megawatts in some taluks we have received the bids.
Thank you so much. I think we need to close the session. Suffice it to say that Karnataka is the most interesting destination for power sector and more so on the renewable energy. Okay, the Minister says give opportunity if some more would like to ask questions. Please go ahead.
And thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. My name is Shiva Rudrappa. I am representing Human Electric Corporation from China. It's one of the major Chinese electric distribution power generation company. So we have a plan to bring out the solar plant on the irrigation canals in Karnataka. So I want to know whether any policy is there or how we can go on with that.
There has been an allocation of 10 megawatt on canal top with the VGF from MNRE. It has been given to KBJNL. If you have any interest, I think we'll coordinate with the KBJNL. They are doing the project. I think they are going to come out with a tender. The DPR is ready. There is a VGF of 3 crores per megawatt given by MNRE, if I am right. And I think they are going to come out with a bid shortly. And if they are not doing, I think somebody else will do in Karnataka. 10 megawatts is allocated from MNRE. Sorry.
Sir, my name is Sachidanand from Gamesa Wind Turbines. My question is that in the recent solar policy, NE is exempted from solar projects. Can it be applicable for wind also? Anyway, Minister Sir said that it will be on the new policy. Just I want a confirmation from government because we have 1000 megawatt plan for coming 2 years. So if it is NA for the non-agriculture for that land purchase, so we can
have the policies on the website, the land reform. Yeah, yes, I think ACS will answer that.
This we can discuss it offline, but as far as power sector is concerned, it has also been treated as an industry now under the new industrial policy. So whatever incentives and concession are available for the industry, they are available as far as purchase of agricultural land and conversion of agricultural land, green conversion is available even for wind sector.
Thank you. I think next session there is a bit of a pressure. We would like to close it, but suffice it to say that Karnataka is one of the best places for investment in power sector and more so in the renewable sector. As Boruka Power, we have already committed to grow to 1000 megawatt in the next few years. And regarding payment and everything, let me assure you, we never had faced any problem. And Karnataka is one state, irrespective of where you put the project, the PPA will be assigned to different ESCOMs depending on their financial ability. So there is not necessary that if you put a project in the ESCOM area only they will sign. That can be paid by some other ESCOM if they are financially viable. So that is not an issue at all. And given the fact that Karnataka's ESCOMs are rated much higher by the banks than other ESCOMs, that itself shows that its strength is there. And lastly, on a lighter note, Karnataka ESCOMs have not gone in too much for the restructuring compared to other ESCOMs in the new policy. So that also shows they are very strong. So with these words, I request more investments into Karnataka, and I thank all the panel members for this wonderful session, and thanks the participant ministers, secretaries, and all the officials from the electricity sector. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I would now request the Honorable Minister to kindly come over and give him mementos to every panelist. To Chandrasekhar. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. B2G meetings are there. You can always ask your questions there. To Mr. Chandrasekhar, I would request all the panelists to kindly accept Mr. Glenn. To Mr. Shankalinga. And also to Mr. Balram. Sir, 1 minute, sir. I would request the Managing Director to kindly give memento to the Honorable Minister and the Additional Chief Secretary. He's already got down. I think the memento can be... Yeah. I would request Shri Ravi Kumar also to kindly come over and receive memento as a token of love and affection. Mr. Ravi Kumar, sir, David Tabani. And also to Mr. Ravi Kumar. Preeti, sir. It's only for token of love and affection. Yeah. Thank you very much. As already indicated, you can post your questions about the energy sector in the B2G meetings. Thanks for being a part of this. We have another important session which is going to happen here on making SMEs globally competitive. So please stay back and we'll start the session in the next 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a short while we are going to start the second seminar of today for Invest Karnataka, that is making SME global competitive. We'll make whatever arrangements in a short while. If some people are interested for SMEs, please be there. Otherwise, you can give space to SME entrepreneurs on this occasion. Thank you very much. We are going to start the 10-minute seminar on making SME global competitive. Please. So you can sit. No, I have one. Yes, sir. The issue is that, sir.
Situated in the southern part of the country, Karnataka has emerged as the knowledge and technology capital of the country, making rapid strides in the new economy as well. One of the 5 industrially advanced states in India, Karnataka has a widely dispersed small-scale sector which contributes heavily to the balanced and sustainable growth of the state's economy. Karnataka State Small Industries Development Corporation Limited, KSSIDC, is one such step to encourage the development of small-scale industries in the state. KSSIDC has been working towards the development of the small-scale sector in the state for more than 55 years now. KSSIDC was established on 29th April 1960. Mission. The corporation's principal objective is the promotion and development of small industries in the state. Construction and utilization of infrastructure, especially in backward areas, procurement and marketing raw materials, technical support and assistance are means to reach the goals, a concern for results, emphasis on quality and timely work and willingness to understand the problems of entrepreneurs are the staff creed, work and services on future projects. In association with the state government, the corporation is involved in development of industrial estates, construction of industrial sheds of various dimensions and providing them with essential amenities such as roads, water supply, sewage line and electricity, along with maintenance of estates. The corporation is also offering developed plots of various dimensions to the entrepreneurs to put up their own factory sheds. Growth of the industrialist.
Good evening, everybody. Can we please settle down quickly? We are already running late. We are 45 minutes late. But welcome to the conference, seminar, summit, where we'll be exchanging ideas on how to make the SMEs globally competitive. And like each SME knows, that we have to work around the problem. So today also we have a little bit of a problem of time. We were to start at 4, but we are now starting late. So official good evening, everybody. As we celebrate the possibilities and potential of Karnataka, the investment and business destination, lot has been said in the morning and lot has been promised. We spoke about projects when we spoke about the potential. But really speaking, this is the set of people who's going to make it possible, the SMEs, the backbone of any economy, and so much the backbone of the Karnataka economy as well. So the SMEs are the probable growth engine, we all know, and this session has a lot of layers, and this is divided into 3 sessions. First we have some speeches, then we have the sectoral presentations, and then we have a 40 minutes panel discussion. For each of us to maintain the time, and because most of you are also, I know, that are traveling, we'll have to rush up through certain things. I will talk about the do's and don'ts. And before I start, I'm going to be the host for the evening. My name is Archana. I'm part of the Network 18 editorial team. And to begin this segment, I would now invite Mr. V.K. Dikshit. He is the president of Karnataka Small Scale Industries Association, that is KASIA. Mr. Dikshit is also the managing director of Karnataka CNC. Sir, the stage is yours.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. Good evening to everybody. It gives me a great pleasure to be a part of this important seminar, making SMEs globally competitive. Today, on the occasion of Invest Karnataka 2016, world is moving towards high quality, low cost and time delivery of products and services. Indian SMEs have understood this and trying to adjust to the new trend. They are upgrading their technology, started working on improved process, tooling, fixture, adopting world standards and implementing lean manufacturing tools and technologies. This is not enough. State government, central government, bureaucrats, experts in the field, associations should study and draw a comprehensive policy wherein Indian SMEs should be able to reduce the input costs and the end product to be competitive in the world market. To this seminar, our Honorable Minister for SSI, Government of Karnataka, Sri Satish Jarkiholy has come. I welcome you, sir, to the dais. And He is here and he is a policy maker side, and I welcome you, sir. On behalf of Exim Bank, SIDBI, KSSIDC, Government of Karnataka, I welcome you, sir. Sir, as guest of honor, Dr. Anup Pujara, IAS ex-secretary MSMED is here. I welcome you, sir, to the dais. From financial sector, Sri Yaduvendra Mathur, IAS, Chairman and Managing Director, Exim Bank is here. He studied in Bangalore and he is a product of Bangalore. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Chhatrapati Shivaji, IAS, Chairman and Managing Director, SIDBI is here. I welcome you, sir. From multilateral institutions and global experts are here. Sri Syed Ali Mumtaz H. Shah, Senior Financial Specialist, South Asian Region, Department, ADB, Philippines is here. I welcome you, sir. Sri Sebastian Sayeds, Lead Economist, the World Bank from New Delhi is here. I welcome you, sir. Sri Andrew McCartney, Senior Banking Specialist, International Financial Corporation, New Delhi is here. I welcome you, sir. Sri Suresh, from Management Expert, Sri Suresh Bhagavatula, Assistant Professor, IIM, Bangalore is here. I welcome you, sir. I welcome Mohammad Mohsin, IAS Managing Director, KSSIDC, to the dais. I also welcome Archana Tiwari, Naidu, Editor, Network 18, Mumbai. I also welcome Nilay Mithash, Secretary SSI, Mines, Textiles, Government of Karnataka. I also welcome Mr. Naidu, Chairman, Gurappa Naidu, Chairman, KSSIDC. I also welcome Mr. Sahu, General Manager, SIDBI, all the officials of the Department of KSSIDC, Exim Bank and SIDBI, all officials of government departments, state and central government departments, NSIC, MSMED and other departments. I welcome presidents, past presidents, secretaries, members of all industry associations like CASIA, PIA, FKCCI, AWIC and many other associations. I welcome Srimati Uma Reddy from Leading Woman Entrepreneur, Bangalore. I welcome Sri Kadappa Krishnappa Mysore, Leading Entrepreneur from Hubli. Mrs. Uma Reddy will join after some time. I also welcome my industry friends, print and digital media. I welcome one and all, sir. Thank you.
So we will start, as I said, it is divided into 3 segments, and just a bit of information and a note for all of us here that even if you were given, say, 10 minutes for your personal presentation, we will have to cut it down to 5 so that we can have more of panel discussion. So 4 minutes there will be a bell, so please take it as signal that you have to now conclude in next 1 minute. So in the profile that I have got, you have 10 minutes, for example. So now you have 5 minutes for the presentation. Yes. So as we go next, because we want to discuss more with you, we want to ask more questions with you as an audience, as a panelist. So we'll devote more time to the panel discussion. I hope everybody is okay with that. So moving on, as we celebrate the essence of Karnataka, which is brimming with opportunities to invest, expand and explore business opportunities, It is my pride and pleasure to invite Sri Satish Lakshmiraj Jarikoli. He is the Honorable Minister of SSI, Government of Karnataka. He is an ideal entrepreneur himself and has enterprises of his own, a committed leader who has willingness and keenness to understand the problems of entrepreneurs and a zeal enthusiasm to resolve their problems. Can we have a big round of applause for the Minister as he gives his words?
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು. ಮೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಸ್ಎಂಸಿ ಗ್ಲೋಬಲಿ ಕಾಂಪಿಟೇಟಿವ್ ಸಂವಾದ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವಂತ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಫಾರ್ಮರ್ ಸೆಕ್ರೆಟರಿ ಆದ ಪೂಜಾರಿ ಅವರೇ, ವೇದೇಂದ್ರ ಮಾಥುರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಕಶ್ಯಪ್ ಶಿವಾಜಿ ಅವರೇ, ಸಬಾಸ್ಟಿನ್ ಅವರೇ, ಆರ್ಥರ್ ಅವರೇ, ಸೈಯದ್ ಮಮತಾಜ್ ಶಾ ಅವರೇ, ಸಬರಿನಾಥ್ ಅವರೇ, ಕುಮಾರ್ ರೆಡ್ಡಿ ಅವರೇ, ಕಾಡಪ್ಪ ಅವರೇ, ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮದಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸಿದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆತ್ಮೀಯ ಬಂಧುಗಳೇ, I extend a very warm welcome to all those who have gathered here. India is a country having a young population. It is estimated that by 2020, the working age group of 20 to 59 years in India will grow to about 75 crore people, one of the largest in the world. We need to make best use of the demographic dividend that is available to us, but this can only happen when we make use of all available channel that gives us growth and jobs. Role of SMEs is very important in India to providing both growth and jobs. About 46 million MSMEs existing in India contribute 8% of GDP, employ about 106 million people, contribute up 45% of manufactured goods and 40% Indian export. This is the sector that can, unless we have productivity, lead growth and jobs in India, this is where most of the opportunities of our youth and the first generation entrepreneurs lay. The huge opportunity in the shaping up for the MSMEs in India by way of rising income in India and by way of opportunities of globalization and trade. And as some countries are slowing down and as manufacturing is shifting from them to other developing countries, there is a huge opportunity to building up India to grab and develop. To make use of this opportunity, to need to put all efforts to see that MSMEs uses productivity lead growth. Friends, well, one can have wish list measures to make India SMEs globally competitive. I would like to list down 6, the important one: skilled manpower, industrial corridors, technology and collaboration, market access and brand building, a business-friendly attitude in the both of government and society, and encourages entrepreneurs and avoiding the situation overload currency. Finally, अभी तो हमारा कार्यक्रम बहुत देर हो गया है, शायद ज्यादा बात करना नहीं चाहता हूं मैं. कर्नाटक ऐसी जगह है, बहुत इंडस्ट्री के लिए फ्रेंडली स्टेट है. हमारा सरकार, खास करके सिद्धरामैया नेतृत्व की सरकार में, जब हमारा सरकार आने के बाद नया इंडस्ट्रियल नया पॉलिसी 2014 to 19 इस देश का सबसे बड़ा पॉलिसी रहा है, जो भी खास करके लघु उद्योग में जो भी आना चाहता है कर्नाटक में, खास करके उनके लिए बहुत कुछ सुविधा है जो आपको जरूर मदद हो जाएंगे। इसके लिए आपका संवाद इंटरेक्शन भी होने जा रहा है। उसमें आपका जो भी डाउट्स है, समस्या है, उसके लिए जरूर हम आपका उत्तर देने के लिए प्रयास करेंगे। ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಗೆ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಕೊಡುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ರಾಜ್ಯ, ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಸುಮಾರು 30 ಲಕ್ಷ ಜನ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗವನ್ನು ಅವಕಾಶವನ್ನು ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಮಾಡಿದೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮುಂದೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಅವಕಾಶಗಳನ್ನು ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸಬೇಕಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ ಇದೆ. ಆ ನಿಟ್ಟಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ತಜ್ಞರು, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸಮಸ್ಯೆಗಳಿಗೆ ಪರಿಹಾರವನ್ನು ಕಂಡುಕೊಳ್ಳುವಂತ ಈ ಸಮಾವೇಶವಾಗಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಕೂಡ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ತಮ್ಮನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸ್ತಾ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮವನ್ನು ಮುಂದುವರಿಸುವಂತೇಳಿ ನನ್ನೊಂದು 2 ಮಾತು ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. There are several reasons, like we have been thinking, hearing all the experts talking about, to invest in Karnataka and set up the business. Government attitude towards industry, quickness in decision making, transparency, good infrastructure, high ease of doing business, incomparable talent pool, excellent business ecosystem, and the list is counting. While acknowledging the advantages, it would be interesting and insightful to know experts' point of view of the potential possibilities and the way forward of Karnataka, and most importantly, their point of view. This brings us to the next session, which we are going to commence now. It's called sectoral presentation. Our first speaker is Dr. Anup Pujari, who joined IAS in 1980 and served in various capacities in the state of Karnataka from 1997 to 2003, and from 2006 to 30th January, as recent as this, 2016, he has served in the central government, holding posts in many departments like law, election commission, economic affairs, commerce, and MSMEs. Dr. Pujari, can we invite you to share your thoughts, please? A big round of applause for Dr. Pujari.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ಮಾನ್ಯ ಸಚಿವರು ರಸ್ತಾವನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವರ ಸ್ಪೀಚಲ್ಲಿ ಕನಿಷ್ಠ ಅರ್ಧ ಅಂಶ ಓದಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಟು ಕೀಪ್ ಟು ದಿ ಟೈಮ್, ದ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಸ್ಕಿಪ್ಡ್ half of his written speech. So he has shown the way to skip to the time. Therefore, I would like to mention only a few things to you. I would like to show you something. Please show the udyogaadhar.gov.in site. My request to you is to please to note the number, that is the number of Udyog Aadhar registrations, which is 1,85,698. In the course of my speech, I'll ask him to refresh it, and you would find that that number would have increased. This is the online, no fee, no uploading a document registration system of micro, small and medium enterprises that the government has brought in. Please refresh. I also want to speak to you about 2 things, and both these things I will tell you in the terms of stories. The first one, the subject, has it increased? Has it increased, yes or no? By how much? Nearly 60. That is the rate at which this is going up. That this is very, very popular. 24/7 it works. And if you go down, I can show you only 14 questions are asked by Government of India, and anybody in the country can get a registration of micro, small, medium enterprises by this. This is what is called ease of doing business. What I wanted to tell you was that today's subject is making small industries or MSMEs globally competitive. I want to make it shorter. I want them to be competitive. What is the meaning of competitive? By means of a story, let me explain to you. A construction was going on of a temple, and there was a mason who was chiseling a piece of marble. But he was not satisfied. When the organizers came and asked him, why are you not putting this on the top? Because of you, the temple construction is going it is getting delayed. He said, in this piece of marble, that plaque that is going, there is a scratch here. The organizer told him, this is going to the top of the temple. Who will notice that scratch? Who will know? The chiseler said that I will know. The point is, the person was competing with himself. He wanted to be the best person, the best mason, and did not allow his conscience to overrule him. He wanted to be the best, and he said that in the marble, if there is a piece of scratch that goes to the top of the temple, I will know that there is a scratch. It was not the best. My dear friends, you are the MSMEs. When you are MSMEs, don't try to be saying that you are competing globally. Compete with yourself. Try to be the best that you can, and then you will see success will follow. So rather than saying that I'm competing internationally, nationally with Gujaratis, with people in Andhra Pradesh, compete with yourself and be the best. The second point I want to tell you again by a story. Lot of you will ask questions. I know that after this there is a panel discussion. The Honorable Minister is there, we are here, the Secretary are here. When you ask a question, could you ask the right question? If you don't ask the right question, if you don't knock at the right door, you will not get an answer. And this is also, I am telling you by means of a story. Think of a boarding school. There is a boarding school, all the boys are there. They want to watch the cricket match in the evening. There is a live telecast going on. The boys go to the father and said, Father, is it correct, is it okay to watch television while praying? Because evening is the prayer time. Father says, no my son, you can't do that. When you pray, please be devoted to the God, don't watch television. They come back. There's a smart boy among them who says, you don't even know how to ask a question, come with me. He goes to the father and says, Father, is it okay to pray while watching television? The father says, yes, my son, God is everywhere. If you're watching television or you are reading, if you want to pray, go ahead and pray. The point is, he did exactly what he wanted to do, but knew what question to ask. My request to you, compete with yourself, be the very best. Ask the right question and you will get the answer. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.
Thank you, Dr. Pujari. I think very two important points about competing with yourself and being sharp either in your business positioning or in your question, asking the question, and very important for today evening as we set out to create more possibilities for the SMEs. Now we'd like to invite Mr. Yaduvendra Mathur. He's the Chairman and Managing Director of Exim Bank. He's not there? Okay, so we'll skip that. And our next speaker is Mr. Andrew McCartney. He is a Senior Banking Specialist, International Financial Corporation. He has 23 years of experience in banking and management consulting in emerging markets. He is currently responsible for advising IFC's clients globally to build their capacities to reach out to the SME segment. I believe you have a presentation, so would request the team to upload this presentation. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, whilst we wait for the presentation, let me just first of all introduce myself and what we're doing here. Good afternoon, everyone. I know it's been a long day, so please be aware, stay with us this last journey. It's an honor to be here representing IFC. It's the private sector arm of the World Bank Group. I'm actually an SME finance specialist, so my role and my team's role really is to get finance institutions in India and South Asia working more with MSMEs. So that can be microfinance organizations, it can be banks, it can be NBFCs, it can be small finance banks, payments banks. Getting more financial inclusion for SMEs is basically what I do for a living. So what I'd like to do when we finally get the presentation up is talk a little bit about SME and access to finance. Because at the end of the day, there we are. At the end of the day, access to finance, can we move slide please? Access to finance is one of the key barriers impacting SME competitiveness today in India. Next slide. I can control it, great. I'm in control now. I don't have time to talk about IFC. As you can see here, based on our research, access to finance, inadequate finance is one of the key barriers impacting MSME growth here today in India. India is not unique in having this problem. This is a problem the world over with SMEs, but it's particularly prevalent here. We have a large population of many, many millions of MSMEs around India. By our estimation, about 30 million, and that's more on the formal. If you include the informal, that doubles even further, and employment potentially goes up beyond 100 million. So it is a sizable sector today, with 52% of those MSMEs in rural areas. That clearly has its own challenges and opportunities. If we look at the entire ecosystem of what it takes to be competitive in that bottom right-hand quadrant, obviously access to finance is only one aspect to consider. And I know my esteemed panelists here will be talking about some of the other aspects, including innovation, access to technology, access to markets. So I'll focus purely on access to finance. The one thing is clear is that things are improving in India. With the initiatives through the government, the RBI, there is a lot happening in the financial inclusion space, and that can only be good news for MSMEs. If you look at things like the small finance banks, we at IFC believe this is a fantastic opportunity for these previous MFIs and MBFCs to do a lot more further up the pyramid with the small businesses and informal businesses that today are not being catered for by the group lending GLG model. But our analysis shows that in terms of supply and demand of finance today in India for MSMEs, that there is a credit gap of, by our estimation, around about $380 billion in terms of what is required versus what is being supplied today. So clearly, we're making great strides, but there's still a lot more that needs to be done. Now, why is it? Why do we have this credit gap? What is so difficult about this? Well, in essence, it's a combination of, as we would see it, supply and demand factors. On the one hand, we've got MSMEs that are not necessarily going into the formal banking sector for a variety of reasons. They don't have the right financial records, they want to stay informal, below the tax radar, a range of things that basically makes them relatively unbankable today. So you combine that with financial literacy and so on. You have a situation where most banks do not want to deal with a lot of these businesses. And then on the bank side, they're not equipped. They're not equipped in terms of their networks. They're not equipped in terms of their credit standards for catering for a large chunk of these particularly small businesses. The majority of MSME businesses in India are in the small and very small tier of the economy. And it's exactly this area where the MFIs haven't been able to move up to meet their needs, and the banks have not been able to move down to actually offer credit. So there's what we call the missing middle, and unfortunately it's this missing middle where the majority of MSMEs are today. So what do? Well, we don't lend as IFC directly to the SMEs. We work through financial intermediaries, the banks, the MFIs, the MBFCs, who then on-loaned to to the segments, to particularly the underserved segments where we're obviously trying to push and incentivize them to move. So we do a lot of work in terms of provision of investment, credit lines, equity into these financial institutions, and we also provide them with technical assistance so that they can actually adapt their business models better to cater for the MSME segment. And I think one of the key areas that we also do with our clients is focus on some of those demand type issues around skills. So developing what we would call non-financial services, so the ability to provide value-adding advice to MSMEs about their business plan, some financial literacy training about how to take advantage of a banking relationship. So we also, as well as the lending side, there is also a strong focus on what more can these financial institutions do to improve the bankability of the MSMEs themselves through training, through advisory, through mentoring, through coaching. And I think if we look across the market as a whole, I think our key big themes that we are focused heavily on right now are, in particular, women in business. So if MSMEs are disadvantaged in terms of access to finance, women-owned businesses are even more disadvantaged. And there is as much as a $20 billion credit gap there, as we would see it, and nearly 10 million women-owned enterprises that today are not getting access to finance here in India. Another key focus area, and it's in the press right now the whole time, is around early stage and startups. So we're trying to get our financial institutions to start talking to clients that have been in business less than 3 years. The traditional banker model is don't touch a customer until they've been in business and have been successful for typically at least 2, often more than 3. And clearly, in this exciting entrepreneurial time we live in today, as we're trying to keep our economic growth, all these government initiatives also need to be supported by the private sector, and to not have to wait 3 years to actually get a loan from a bank. And then, I won't talk about it too much because I know my ADB colleague will be talking about this, but a lot of work also around cluster-based and value chain-based financing, which are lower risk ways in which banks can actually lend through the value chain in different clusters. Other areas, energy efficiency, so getting our SMEs to invest in technologies that are energy efficient, that save them money and also the climate. And last but not least is kind of rural SMEs and agri-finance, where, as we know today, over 50% of the MSMEs are based. I think I'm out of time, but I just wanted to show you just some figures on I used to lead women entrepreneur advisory services for IFC before I took this role in Delhi a year ago. So this is a piece that's particularly close to my heart. What it shows is that actually 22% of MSMEs today are women. That the vast majority stay in the informal sector, a very small chunk actually formalize, and that there is actually a big financing opportunity of nearly $20 billion for those finance institutions. That's beyond what the microfinance is doing with this sector, I may add. Don't say, oh, well, with the MFIs we've got that covered. They haven't. This is the next level up, beyond group lending. And these are the kind of things that we do to support, as IFC, to support women entrepreneurship finance, whether it be loans and equity, or whether it be our technical advisory services, where we work with the banks, with the MFIs, with the MBFCs, to actually develop something specific that's more targeted towards women. And last but not least, just in terms of IFC and SME financial inclusion, we're about funding mobilization with donors like the DFIDs, like the USAIDs of this world, So we mobilize funding to support India and SME financial inclusion. We have our investment and advisory services, which I've already talked about. And we also do a lot of convening power with other DFIs and public and private sector here in India. And we also run an SME finance forum globally, which came out of the work we did with the G20 during the G20 SME Finance Challenge about 3-4 years ago. So in summary, this is what we do for a living. We've got a team here in India that is trying to continue spearheading the SME Finance Challenge today. So thank you.
Thank you, Andrew, and apologies for rushing you through. I promise you will make sure that all the passion points that you're passionate about will be covered. And our next speaker is Dr. Chhatrapati Shivaji. He is IAS, Chairman and Managing Director of SIDBI. Dr. Shivaji assumed charge as Chairman and Managing Director as on March 2nd, 2015, that is last year. Prior to his joining SIDBI, Dr. Shivaji has held various important posts in various departments of Government of Maharashtra, Government of Kerala, Government of India. He has also keen interest in developing SMEs across sector, and he is one of the personalities of India today for making Indian SMEs globally competitive. So here's for listening to Dr. Shivaji. A round of applause as Dr. Shivaji takes the podium.
Good evening, friends. I can see many of you are feeling now tired. And my basic purpose is to make you happy, feel energetic, and have a smile on your faces, not the wrinkle on your faces. So first good news I would like to give you so that you can start smiling now. I don't have any slide. I have brought it, but I will not show it to you. I will give you the copy which you can read and subsequently bombard some questions to me. The second good question, which all of you will be happy. You know, more than 95% of successful multinational corporations, we call it large companies, mega large companies, once upon a time used to be MSME. It means the derivative of this means for tomorrow the future of Tata, Birla, Ambani is seated here. Any of you, if you have that confidence, if you have that determination, commitment, and of course, with some application of mind, you have the potential to become what you want. All of you are like, like Lord Hanumana. Immense power and strength, but he doesn't know. It needs to be told that you can cross the Indian Ocean. For that sake, I would like to tell you a few more things. Suppose you have 5 products, A, B, C, D, E, and a product which gives you maximum return or having the potential to achieve your whatever the objective and goals which you have set, you will adopt first. And I can tell you, the maximum locked but remain unutilized potential to grow not lies with the large project, it lies with the MSME. So naturally, now you can see how all the policy focus are on the MSME, and we will like that every MSME can be able to reach and assert and unleash their full potential. For that, this is the most opportune time, I can tell you. I am grateful to the government of Karnataka I'm also grateful for inviting me over here and having an opportunity to discuss with you that this is the opportune time. How? Globally, in fact in the morning we have seen that globally now the entire West is having perpetual endemic one issue or another which is hitting the economy, and they all are coming into some problems. Whereas our country, with the help of some of the very strong fundamentals, economic fundamentals of some of the states, like including that of the state of Karnataka, you know that our economy is continuously quite stable. The another is where the large number of our rising middle class, young aspirational youths, and they all are now creating an ambience which is unprecedented, and credit goes to all of you. This is the time you can be able to see for a country like ours, for an economy like ours, you can see that now both the deficits, all types of the issues are now quite low. There is a declining interest rate regime. Quite likely the interest rate is going to be down. When this type of the business confidence, the investment sentiment is coming, the market sentiment which is getting buoyed from one day to another, there is a focus of most of the governments, including the Karnataka government, to give more and more focus for manufacturing and the micro, small and the medium segment, where all of you are seated, and I can give you a few examples which all of you are there. Now you see the initiatives which the government, different governments has taken, ease of doing business. One live example you have seen, how Dr. Pujari has shown you in fraction of the minutes. You can be able to get the registration and that is in your hand. These type of initiatives are now increasing and increasing. All that is required, which I told you in the beginning, you need to have a confidence, you need to have determination, and baki sab to, the remaining things again, you have the Jugaru mind, which all of us are having, we have a digital mind, which all of us are having, we will definitely win the race. That is what it is required. MSME, lot of advantages are there which all of you are aware, backbone of the economy, job employment, inclusive growth, it provides you the equitable growth, exports are very high, manufacturing contribution is unprecedented. But just one more minute and then I will stop here. In order to give the fitting support and align our interest to suit your requirement, the SIDBI, which I am chairing right now, a number of initiatives which have been put in place. Like Make in India, we have dedicated corpus, we have earmarked for this program for 1,000 crore. We have a MOU with CASIA, Dr. Dixit is here. We are feeling proud of the association like his. This type of the partnership I am interested. What is required that I would like to build an ecosystems which is very robust, and you know that your job better than me. I don't want to come and interfere with you. Once your happiness comes, your satisfaction comes, definitely I will fulfill my objectives. In that context I can tell you another is a SMILE fund. SMILE scheme all of you are aware of. 10,000 crores we have earmarked for this. There, the most important issue with many of our MSME entrepreneurs, they are not financial experts, they run into the problem is they can be able to get many a times the debt with great difficulty. But promoter's margin, which is basically on the equity side, you would find it very hard to mobilize. In order to meet that requirement, this SMILE scheme will provide you the equity featured structured soft loan, which will take care of your increasing your borrowing power for the debt sanction. The second biggest problem comes, many of you have realized, the moment you go to the banks for getting the loan, then immediately what happens? They call it, give me the security, collateral, guarantee. In order to circumvent this particular problem, that too in a more robust framework, we have floated our own trust, which Dr. Pujari, I must be grateful to him. He has been able to help a lot in making it much better. That CGTMSE in short, we keep calling it, and takes care of all your requirement up to 1 crore with all the banks in the country. They all are the members, and you will get the debt. The third thing, which is yet in the pipeline, I have promised you that I will talk only what is there, which is coming in the good way in your path. The third thing, I'm sure those who are already operating, your delayed payment issue, payment when our trade receivables, any of you will not be able to stand and talk that my buyer, corporate buyer, have not paid me in time. Because the day you question to the corporate bigger buyer that you are not getting, he will say thank you to you. In order to circumvent this problem and then also to provide a solution more in the institutional form, that we are now floating a joint venture with the National Stock Exchange, and we will have an electronic discount platform which will make everything transparent, that if someone is delaying, that will be also in the public. So sunshine is the best disinfectant. Based on this transparency, we will like all of you to start flourishing in the fair game. I have a lot to share with you, but I know all of you are feeling tired, and my intention is not to add one more bit in your tiredness. I am sure all of you will definitely succeed in your life, succeed in your making your MSME into a mega venture, in a most successful venture with support of a number of schemes like a Startup India funds with the SIDBI has floated, India Aspiration Fund, that is the fund of funds operation, with providing you all the equity related growth capital, the risk capital, then again with a number of Stand Up India, especially for the women. Just now IFC was talking about that the women entrepreneurs, we have dedicated a Stand Up India scheme for the women and Dalits entrepreneurs. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Shivaji. And Mr. Mathur will give you an option. Would you want to speak for minutes, or you will want to be part of the panel discussion straight away? You guys speak? Okay, so let me introduce you formally. Mr. Mathur. Yeah, so a round of applause for Mr. Mathur, please.
Thank you so much. Honorable Minister, Dr. Pujari, and distinguished panel, for me it's an honor, and thank you, Mr. Nilay Fantash, for calling me. My real short point was that the SMEs have to grow in scale and size. The game of an SME is not to live and remain that small, tiny one, but be global. And I can give you examples of companies which have really challenged the way the thing was. Take Himmat Singh Ka Seedhe. Himmat Singh Ka Seedhe is a very prestigious Karnataka-based company, and that company in 2007-8 was facing challenges of marketing in US, and there were two American giant retail and wholesale chains in US which controlled nearly 85-90% of the marketing chain in. Can we go ahead? Yeah. So, of course, I will skip about the bank and I will come straight to some success stories which proves the point I am trying to make, which is to make our companies go global. And forget it. I think that was... So, Himmat Singh came to Exim Bank in 2008, and we asked them, these two companies which were threatening him that we will take silk furnishing fabrics and other linen from China, and Exim Bank, they were our very old customers, so we financed them, sir, with about $110 million through a Canadian wholly owned subsidiary. They went ahead and acquired those two American companies. So that retail chain which is actually challenging. So make your challenges opportunities to grow. So get that there is this small feeling with an Indian company that how do I access technology, how can I grow in size. There is another example of a gear company in Nasik. They were supplying gear parts which went to a Spanish major, which was the biggest in the OEM for gears in Europe. The small company with a turnover of less than 60 crores had the courage to acquire a 400 crore company in Spain. So we could go on and on. There are more than 500 cases where Exim Bank has supported SMEs to acquire companies overseas. So the disruption or the growth will come with more support from the government, from the banking system, to see that our SMEs can quickly ramp up and grow. I know you could burn your hands also, because these loans are typically dollar denominated, and you have to service those loans again in dollars. So unless you don't have a dollar income and a natural hedge, then you can also burn your fingers. So but these strategic investments should be made, must be made for Indian SMEs to really capture and grow in scale and size. I know there are many speakers. I will rest my address, and I really encourage SMEs to contact our Bangalore branch. If there is any way we can support them, the new defense offset policy again is a very huge opportunity. We are working with the Government of India. We give the lines of credit, and I didn't tell you a lot about the bank, but we also finance at the behest of Government of India the loans to other countries so that they can import from India. And that again, my friends, is a huge opportunity for project exports from Karnataka to happen. I don't see many large players in Karnataka, but this is an opportunity. Form clusters. So if one of your friends is making the transformer, you are making the wire, somebody else is making some insulators, get together, form a project execution company and do projects overseas. That's where the margins are, and this availability of credit to the buyer is the game the Western world has been playing against us for years. So the game is to give loans to those countries and to those companies overseas so they can import, they have to import from India. So the loans that we give have got a condition. 75% of that loan they have to use to import from India. So government has already, these schemes have been in existence, but maybe not many people know about it. Please find out opportunities to export, and of course you have to be competitive, it has to be a good product. All those things go without saying, but the future is bright and opportunity is galore. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Mr. Mathur. Just about made it on time. And our last speaker in this segment, before we start the panel discussion, is a senior financial sector specialist covering areas of public debt management, financial sector, trade and SME development at the Asian Development Bank, Manila. May I now invite Mr. Saeed Ali Mumtaz at Shah. He is a senior financial specialist, South Asia Regional Department, ADB Philippines. A round of applause for Mr. Shah, please.
Thank you very much. Can we upload the presentation, please? Because mine are all graphic, I need to describe the graphs. Thank you very much. Making SMEs globally competitive. Now, the first slide, based on ADB's latest data, shows us that we are having an increasing trend of MSE exports, but as a percentage of total exports has remained pretty steady. So the key is, as India's MSMEs become more globally competitive, MSMEs to total exports should show a more positive trend. Now, what areas, policy areas to enhance SME global competitive? 5 main areas: technology and innovation for SMEs, access to finance and capital, particularly bank finance, equity capital, venture capital, supply chain finance, and a new element in crowdfunding. Skilled workers, productive workplace practices, and market access. Now, because of want of time, I'll just go over this, but fairly quickly in some slides. In technology innovation, we're looking both at supply side technology policies, as well as demand side, as well as systemic technology policy. Now, on the supply side, government will focus on supporting innovation technology development through incentives, grants, subsidies. On the demand side, those enterprises that successfully obtain better technologies should be rewarded by the markets. And there could be a system for promotion of government procurement of SME products and services through central and local governments with certain conditions that they meet specified technological thresholds or deliver products or services with better functions than existing ones. Now, I'd like to focus a little more on access to finance. As we see here, the graph indicates that almost more than 70% of the financing, bank financing that SMEs receive is from the state enterprises. Around 22% are from the private banks, and only around 7 to 8% are from the foreign banks. Now, what can we say are the constraints to that? Now, there are quite a few, which the ADB sees. First, we see a legal framework for bankruptcy proceeding, which is ongoing in the Parliament. Enactment of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code should enable resolution of insolvency in a speedy and time-bound manner, which should facilitate more lending. Second, a legal framework and system for securing movables. Enactment of a secure transactions bill to increase the availability of secure financing alternatives by enabling SMEs to use their movable property as collateral, which is their main source of assets. Third is the reduction in the costs of screening of credible borrowers. Now, this requires an automated CIB, developing a credit scoring system of SMEs to ensure an adequate legal system, again, and laws to enforce loan contracts, and encourage borrowers to develop good financial statements. Now, this requires a lot of technical assistance as well. On this aspect, ADB has been involved in this throughout its member countries. And lastly, another key is to provide credit guarantee schemes on lending to SMEs to share the risk with the private financial institutions. Now, apart from bank finance, there are other avenues of finance which are being approached by SMEs, and in India there is an encouraging sign. The latest data from from India, from ADB, shows that since most MSMEs, particularly the knowledge-based enterprises, when starting off, they have negative cash flows and no collateral, and therefore find it difficult to access debt capital. Now, in this case, equity capital is a key, venture capital, and other means. We see a very encouraging trend where in both the Bombay Stock Exchange and the National Stock Exchange emerge, where there are an increasing number of listed SME companies and the market cap. So this is a very encouraging trend. Similarly, on the venture capital side as well, we have seen a growth in the number of venture capital investments. Lastly, also, another key element area to look at is to develop systems for supply chain finance, and also to develop crowdfunding, which is a new form of financing, which has certain measures to look at, which include sensitizing entrepreneurs to possibilities of crowdfunding, ensuring adequate regulation, including proper disclosure, and designing rules for tax treatment. On the supply chain finance, it's key that the large firms need to be taking an active role, and supply chain information systems is critical. Now, government has to play a facilitative role between the SMEs and the large firms to build this supply chain finance element, and guarantees may be needed. Now, going on to the next one is skilled workers. Because of lack of time, I won't go over full detail, but first would be to create an effective education and skills training ecosystem. Second is to create partnerships among government training providers and SMEs. Productive workplace practices, helping SMEs develop ties with large industrial partners. Now, this requires setting and raising uniform guidelines for industry with potential for MNC multinational linkages. courting MNCs by establishing good business and investment conditions, and channel technology spillovers into the SME sectors. And to also as well prepare and bolster SME workplace information technology capabilities. Now, the last measure here to enhance SME competitiveness is market access, very key as well. First, to increase the flow of market information to SMEs. Second, to streamline trade procedures and reduce tariff and non-tariff barriers. And third, but very important, to build efficient transportation infrastructure, key such as linking industrial areas to ports and borders, providing modern facilities, and facilitating intermodal transfers. Now, the ADB sees that for SMEs in global competition, there are two key strategic paths of development to enhance the base for SMEs to participate, operate more fully in the global economy. First is the integration of SMEs into global value chains, and the second is the formation of SME clusters. Now, I won't go over the detail, but this is a description of what the global value chain comprises. It's basically a value chain that operates in more than one economy, and these have evolved and spread in many business sectors, for example, agribusiness, automotive, electronics, and handicraft. Now, benefits for SMEs: its product quality enhanced by technology transfer, business expansion. So we see this as one way approaching, and ADB's operations are recently focusing in this area, with the first country where we're looking into this is the Philippines. Policy implications, again, there are similar priority areas which we've already discussed in the last point here. And the second strategic path is the SME cluster formation. Now, this is the definition, and which is basically, it's a geographical concentration of MSE firms and the various service providers. And it's defined by a product range, and a place name. Now, in this, there are benefits of forming SME clusters. There are commercial benefits, there are economic benefits, environmental and social benefits. Now, I'll skip through how the process of cluster development works. Again, impediments of SME cluster growth, which again we touched on the first 5 main points in the beginning. If these are overcome, it should facilitate SME cluster growth. And most recently, ADB's last MSME project in India, which concluded last year with Exim Bank, had an element of where cluster financing up to 40% was allocated for cluster financing. And a technical assistance was provided to Exim Bank to develop this cluster financing business. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. And this concludes the sectoral presentation with all the information, insights, background. We are all set to have a very engaging and enlightening panel discussion. We have an eclectic mix of panelists today, including policymakers, financial experts, global experts, management experts, and entrepreneurs. This should ascertain a well-rounded discussion, and I'm sure this interactivity and live discussion will be well represented by all of you, that is the audience. And since we are done with the sectoral presentation, and now I can come to my elements, only yesterday I was thinking that, my God, I have 10 panelists to manage, and this is too big a number for panel. But I came today morning, and when I saw 50 people on the inaugural stage, I saw my problem is so small. Probably this also reflects on all of us as SMEs, that most of the times we think about our problems are too big, while we don't know that there are other people dealing with bigger problems. So are all the panelists ready? I have another problem in front of me, that we are so many, and I'm sitting there, I'm the moderator, I have to be somewhere in the center. What are your suggestions that we should be doing? Any suggestions? Quickly? So should I sit there? Yes, so that is precisely why I wanted all of you to suggest, so that you should co-create the solutions when we are talking about problems. When I'm going to talk to my panelists about the problems facing all of us as a SME segment, each one of us has to come with a solution. So as I take my seat, I would want each of my panelists to set the stage and set the canvas. Each one of you, very quickly, what are your attributes for being... So, I am the moderator. Yes. So I'm going to introduce those who are not introduced. I'll be quickly introducing you because the guests should know. So from the entrepreneur side, we are represented by Ms. Uma Reddy. She's the leading woman entrepreneur in Bangalore, and Mr. Kadappa Krishnappa Mysore. He is a leading entrepreneur in Hubli. Absolutely. So I am doing that. So give me a chance. The panel discussion has just begun, and probably I was hoping that the audience are more proactive. You guys are really proactive. So Ms. Uma Reddy is the first generation technocrat entrepreneur who started her career while at college and now manufactures custom built transformers, coils, inductors and electronic sub-assemblies. Her company won the Performance Award and the Best Supplier for GE Medical Systems South Asia in 2001. She has also received Rajyotsav Award in 2005 for her contribution to the society. So she is one of the lady entrepreneurs. Mr. Kadappa Mysore is the chairman of MS Shantala Power Systems Hubli. He has risen to become a business leader and social activist. He has also enabled NABL accredited laboratories for testing and calibration, having branches throughout India. That is our entrepreneurs. We have the IIM professor, Mr. Suresh Bhargavasya. He is the assistant professor IIM Bangalore. His research interests are in two partially overlapping domains like entrepreneurship and social network. In the past, he has worked with Tata Research Design and Development Center and in Krish Vigyan Kendra. So from a global expert, we already have introduced Mr. Saeed Ali Mumtaz Shah, Mr. Andrew McCartley, he's been introduced. Mr. Sebastian Saz, he is a lead economist, World Bank, and he is the lead economist and coordinator of the Trade and Competitiveness Program in India and joined the World Bank Group in January 2009. Before joining the World Bank Group, he served as an advisor to the Ministry of Finance in Chile. So that's, then we have Mr. Mathur, who's already spoken. He is from Exim Bank. Dr. Shivaji, you've already been introduced. Dr. Pujari, you already know. And of course, the Honorable Minister. So that is the panel that we have. And I would have wanted each one of them, those who have not spoken, to tell us what is the attribute of SMEs to be global competitive in not more than 3 sentences. That what do you think makes the SMEs globally competitive? The mics are there.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Her question was, how do we make SMEs globally competitive? Let me just go back and share a very quick point about my own business and my sector, which is electronics manufacturing. We know that there is a $400 billion opportunity for electronics by 2020. If you look across all sectors, be it electronics, be it medical equipment, be it automotive, be it avionics, we have electronics that pervades all sectors. Most of the manufacturing is not happening, we are importing most of it. So which first clearly shows that SMEs, there is a huge opportunity in terms of manufacturing. So what do we need to do with that? And that's exactly what I think all our speakers mentioned about collaborative cluster formation. Each of us have certain strengths, especially in the SMEs. Can we all join together to form a cluster? And then we are individually competitive within our own space of having 5S, ISO, all the accreditations. And as a cluster, we have all the accreditation that is required and all the expertise that is required to manufacture products. And that's exactly what we are trying to do with CLIC, the Consortium of Electronic Industries. We just signed an MOU today in setting up a technology business incubator which helps us in developing products as a cluster group, and that's what we are working towards. I think individually all of us as SMEs have the expertise. If we are here, that means we are already having that expertise. Now for us to grow big, one, there needs to be an ecosystem that will help build development, and I think The government is really working on that, whether it's Udyog Aadhar, whether it is the NID scheme which is there for supporting entrepreneurs to, develop. There's a lot of support that is coming under the NID scheme for research and development. There is a lean manufacturing scheme that supports, and there is a whole lot of schemes under NMCP that supports entrepreneurs. What we really need to do is wake up our mind and then work towards it and be qualitative and competitive. Thank you.
SME for upcoming this one in future, because lot of foreign competition is coming. We need to cope up the situation, make the whatever you have reached a certain level, you further proceed to make a R&D centers, develop in-house R&D center, try to export and be competitive, and try to delegate, because up to coming to certain level you are looking all the things. Since market is open to us, we have a lot of opportunity. Further we should proceed for further expansion.
Probably I'll stand up. I guess people can't see.
So what, according to you, are the attributes for making the SMEs globally competitive in 3 sentences?
are large entrepreneurs. We should find out in that only opportunity. When big industry comes, we should find out our where we are fit, because everyone will not be considered that time, because big player only consider. When big industry comes, we should also think what is our opportunity. So everybody is having opportunity. So this is my.
I agree with what sir said, because nowadays product life cycles are very short. Today what is in existence is not in existence in a few years, which means that we are again a startup in exactly a few years from now. So just because I've been running my business for the past 3 decades or 2 decades does not mean I'm not going to be a startup when I set up my business 6 months thereafter, something new, something different, something innovative. So I think SMEs need not worry about, the startup policy taking the thunder away from us. We are all can be a startup in a new venture, in a new effort, and I think that's what he was trying to say.
Can I add a little bit? All of us, we have seen during our childhood, Murphy Radio, Philips. Now we don't see them. Your tape TTK series, all the tape out. The way in which these changes in the product and the quality of product and its disruption of the existing contemporary markets is becoming faster and faster. In fact, sometimes jokingly I say that the science is getting wisdom faster than the society. Science is getting knowledge faster than the society is getting wisdom. I will repeat. The science is getting knowledge faster than the society is getting the wisdom. See, sometimes back in Indian economy, suddenly, in fact, let me ask the question. Sometimes back, all of us knew that how the mobile phone, it has started spearheading in most of our lives, all the activities. And the Airtel became the biggest, largest market shareholders of the music industry. Now iTunes, you see, that captures everything. The world's biggest transporter, taxi aggregators, is not having even one taxi. The world's biggest hotelier is not having even one hotel room. When these type of things which are happening, all of us have that wisdom which we can be able to put it in our business model, and you will find that suddenly you will start leapfrogging, going far ahead of what you have thought of. This is what it is required. In battles, battles are not now won by arms, ammunition and battalions. It is going to be the knowledge-driven, innovation-centric, that type of the sharpness of the idea in your business model, which you need to put it, embed it, and then start navigating it. And that I can tell you, all the SMEs, they all have that mindset, especially in India, because all of us are digital mindsets right from the childhood.
Thank you so much. Archana, I will play the co-anchor role.
Yes.
I will request Sebastian Saiz. I think you missed out on the earlier question. He wanted to answer the earlier question. What are the attributes for an SME to become globally competitive? Mr. Saiz.
Thank you so much and good afternoon. I think that from our perspective that were mentioned, in our view, the 3 most important areas are skills, the need to improve and enhance the skills, and in that sense the World Bank is supporting the skills upgrading institute in both at the union level and the state level, and Karnataka will benefit for that. The second thing is technology adoption. And also the World Bank is supporting the upgrading of technology centers, the existing technology centers in the different states. And we are going to also help to create additional technology centers to have in total 33 technology centers in India. And we are supporting that very actively. And we understand that these are small steps, but we hope that these small steps are going to take by the private sector and other institutions, and this will become more important issue. Another aspect that we are supporting is regulatory reforms, and in that sense we are supporting what is normally known as doing business regulatory reforms, both at the union level and at the state level. And SMEs are particularly burdened by unnecessary regulations, and I think that this is going to have a big impact on SMEs. And last but not least, the issue of quality. If you want to become globally competitive, quality is a super important point, and we have been supporting in different states different interventions that are directed to work towards increasing the quality of the products of SMEs. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hello. So we all believe that we are living in disruptive times where the businesses are being disrupted every day, every month, every year. There's no permanency. So what should the traditional SMEs then do? Or there is no mindset called traditional SMEs anymore. How should they cope up with that? Those who have probably traditional businesses, how should they cope up with that? Dr. Pujari, I would want your reaction on this first.
I have a completely different view from what you are trying to say or what my colleagues are trying to say. We cannot say that business today requires knowledge. It always required knowledge. We cannot say that business today requires risk-taking ability. It always required that. The point is, as the world becomes more competitive, and as people like our anchor are there who are in 24/7 news media and channels, lot of things that were not known to people earlier becomes apparent. It is not that, think for example, somebody who started a corner shop 35 years ago also spotted that opportunity that required, there is a shortage, there is something, and started a shop and became successful. Today, it is no longer finding a corner shop or corner area, it is something finding a new market, new product. What, after all, is innovation in business? Either finding a new product or a new market or a mix of the two. So therefore, all these things were there 200 years ago, they are there here today, only the focus becomes sharper. So I do not agree that something was knowledge-based earlier or not knowledge-based earlier and become knowledge-based today. It is just that because we become more aware of things, we think this is becoming more and more important. No, finance was required all the time. What my friend talked about technology adoption, it was required all the time. What my friend talked about quality was all the time. So therefore, these are the complete truth all the time. We need to be careful. But as I mentioned to you earlier, if you want to be really successful, compete with yourself and be the best. Everything else will follow.
So, Mr. Mathur, will you add on to what Dr. Pujari said, or you contradict him or you comply?
Thank you. I completely agree with what Dr. Pujari said, because the bottom line is you might be doing a product in a market which is protected, but suddenly you find the same product can be delivered in your neighborhood by some supplier sitting in the other corner of the world. So the rate of change or the challenges are very sharp, very quick, and they will visit you overnight. So the thing what Mr. Shivaji was saying and what Mr. Pujari is saying, or what others have said, basically there is no conflict in the perspectives. It is only the rate of change, the threat, the disruptions are very quick. It is happening overnight. Technologies, some regulatory requirements may come. Suddenly, all the manufacturing of diesel cars is, like useless. So suddenly, you go to automobile companies and, they're all trying to upgrade. Why it happened? Because there was a legislative or a judicial. So disruptions can come from various sources. So the SME is that way unprotected. Typically, it is left out in the open. So how can the ecosystem protect SMEs. So I think the way forward is clusters, be together, let the whole ecosystem support you. So I think that there is no rocket science in the pattern, or there is no change in the pattern. It has been the same way. If you see Jaipur 250 years ago, all the ghee-walas were in one area, all the jewelers were in one area. Even 250 years ago when cities were planned, they used to put everybody in one cluster because they knew that is when competitive forces will result in the best product to the consumer. Ultimately, you are playing not the consumers against the producers, but you wanting efficiencies, the best competitive production to deliver. And the last comment is on value chains, global value chains. So you might be a supplier to some other in the value chain across the oceans. So logistics is taking the way forward. And I can share that banks are looking at financing logistic companies, not the SME or the manufacturer, because it will only come to the shop, it will come to the factory, and the truck will, take it out within 12 hours, So products are passing through factories very quick. So the whole domain of financing is changing. You show a good logistic company and a bank is more comfortable to fund working capital because the logistic company watches how much time is there the raw material converting into semi-finished and moving out. So paradigms are changing very fast.
Absolutely. And we spoke about being competitive and being, having competition with our own self, technology inculcation, innovation. Now all this requires money. I'm sure all of you are nodding. And that's where probably the financial, banks and financial institutes come into play. How do, and especially we have the international bodies who are actually helping the SME value chain. How do you look at the SMEs in India, especially in Karnataka? What has been your experience, and are there any specific projects that you're working in Karnataka? Okay, so before we get into the finance, we can take up questions on the SMEs, whatever we have discussed. Is there any point of view, any questions from the SMEs? We would want to take it up and then we will. Yes, sir. Can we reach a mic to him, please? Someone?
Sir, this WTO on trade agreements between countries, it has to happen. And all products from outside at cheaper rate will be dumped on the other country. It will come automatically. The example is textile, electronics, electrical and electronic goods from China and other places. It was dumped in India, and some of the industries who are manufacturing here are closed. It's because input cost in India is high. How to, even inputs, we may have to import from outside. That also some textile people have tried and they were not able to compete with the other market, outside market. So how to go about for Indian companies?
Yes.
Now, Mr. Dixit should tell a story about me. Exactly what he said last time when I came to Kasia, I asked him that in Rajaji Nagar industrial area, there is a particular shop or particular manufacturer who used to make ink. I showed him my fountain pen. I told him that for the last 37 years, I have been using this ink. Can you get me that? He sent somebody there. He found that the manufacturer has sold the business, somebody else took the business, and no longer that ink is available. In Delhi, the same ink that I used to purchase at 15 rupees from the Rajaji Nagar manufacturer is available at 465 rupees. It is imported from Germany. It is a turquoise blue color. This explains what he is saying. Our own manufacturing abilities have, some places have gone down because of lack of fashion. In some places it has gone out because of cost. Do not worry. If I am not able to drink water from here and I am thirsty, I will find water somewhere else. I have full faith on you. But look at the other side. As the government my friends here and the minister here, they have to balance the need of the consumer who wants a cheaper material, quality material, compared to a high-cost material. So therefore, when we talk about some countries dumping in India, or when we talk about some countries import coming and killing our country, please have some faith on the government, because government takes a balanced view as to whether what is good for the consumer and what is good for the producer. But having said that, my friend Mathur was just explaining to me that after the TPP, the agreement comes in, it is possible that Indian manufacturers may be facing a little disadvantage. For that, some amount of thinking is going on into what way certain types of trade agreement which are held outside my country, if they impact us, what to be done. There are thinking going on, but there is no clearly white or black answer. The area is slightly grey at the moment.
Sir, my name is Srinivasan, representing Karnataka State SC/ST Industries Association. Everybody is aware that SC/ST entrepreneurs comprises only 2% in the SME sector. You agree with us, with me, that SC/STs comprises only 2% in the SME sector. Forget about large and medium industry sector. What is, I am posing a question to Pujari, because you have got vast experience in MSME sector. What is your advice to both government of India as well as government of Karnataka, and what is your advice to SC/ST entrepreneurs?
ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದಾ? ಇವಾಗ ಸಾಹೇಬರು ಕೇಳಿರೋದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ, ಯಾರು ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಜಾತಿ ಮತ್ತು ಪರಿಶಿಷ್ಟ ಪಂಗಡದವರಿಗೆ ಅಂಥ ಎಂಟರ್ಪ್ರಿನರ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರಿಂದ ಯಾವ ತರ ಸವಲತ್ತನ್ನು ಬರುತ್ತೆ? 2012ರಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು ಒಂದು ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಕ್ಯೂರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಆದೇಶವನ್ನು ಜಾರಿ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ ಆದೇಶವನ್ನು 2013-14 ಮತ್ತು 2015 ತನಕ ಅಡ್ವೈಸರಿ ಆಗಿತ್ತು. With effect from 1st April 2015, it is mandatory. Under that public procurement policy order, 20% procurement by any central government entity or the central government shall be from micro and small enterprises, of which another 20% would be only from SC/ST enterprises. Therefore, as of now, there is a policy in place to help people belonging to the disadvantaged community to compete on them. Now, having said this from the government side, let me come to speak to you as Anup Pujari. I am no longer a government officer. The point is, when you manufacture something, if your quality is good, why would somebody, the vendor, look for reservation? ನಾನು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರು ಬಂದಾಗ ಒಡಿಶಾದಿಂದ ನಾನು ಕರ್ನಾಟಕಕ್ಕೆ 1980 ಬಂದಿದೆ, 1980. ಆವಾಗ ಜನರಿಗೆ ನನಗೆ ಹೇಳಿದರು, ನೀವು MTR ಹೋಗಿ ತಿಂಡಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ. I did not know what is MTR. I went there and found that you have to stand in queue to go inside. Why? Because of quality. So therefore, from the government side, there is something that Mr. Dixit mentioned about lean manufacturing process. Our friend mentioned about cluster. Ask Reddyamma. She will tell you there are various ways by which the government of India and the state government try to enhance your quality and caliber. That is the final answer. But yes, today there is a reservation for procurement only by the government entities.
Good afternoon. I have a question for Minister, Honorable Minister, as well as for Mr. Pujari. Whenever we talk about SME or MSME, we always ignore or forget that there are service sectors as well. And the service sector, I believe today, are doing really well, But when it comes to any facilities or even about the land or anything, they are not really talking about the service sectors, that is for CA, lawyers, doctors, and especially ladies. So anything, can you talk about that?
Among us, say the most successful lady is here. She is your no. I introduce her to these people not as a lady but a successful Karnataka entrepreneur. Lady is separate. Okay. Amma, Sarkaradinda, what are the benefits that comes from the government today? Land, priority in electricity connection. These two things are the only benefit that really come to you. I understand that the KSI, DC, other people have some land bank, there is some policy on that. But essentially, please try to, understand what I am trying to. Unless you bring in the quality into that, you put your head into the quality on that, government cannot come to your house and tell you that yours is the best thing.
Andrew, you want to add?
Can I explain this question further?
Yes.
I will just give you one example if you don't mind.
Bring it closer.
Okay. Harohalli, the project is coming up for the ladies park, technology park. Okay, when I had applied there, I was told that it is not for the service sector. They said, why are you here? That was the question. I said, see, when there are going to be so many industries here, I am a lawyer, I run a law firm, not only here in Karnataka, but across Karnataka. These ladies are going to need lawyers. So, will they not need the service? No, you don't come under that. I am a MSME, I am a micro sector. I do need the place. So how can you ignore that sector and not just me? Like me, there are so many sectors. There are other than lawyers, there are doctors, there are crash, there are CAs, there are so many sectors which have to be considered.
So Andrew's women entrepreneurs is also one of your favorite topics and area of interest. After him you can speak.
Let me quickly answer that question. You see, it's not that the service sector is not encouraged. It is a very important part of the economy, and that too of Karnataka's economy. IT is a service sector, and we have a lot of policies for the IT sector. We do have a specialized policy for biotechnology sector, the IT sector. So it's not that service sector as such is not being catered to. The exact case that you have in hand, that particular park or theme has been developed with certain objectives, and your particular organization does not fit into those objectives as of now. So that is why this has been denied to you. I don't want to take bilateral questions on your single firm, but let me correct this impression that our policies do not cater to service sector. Our policies do cater to service sector. Perhaps the chartered accountants, the lawyers and the doctors are not fitting into that policy of the service sector that we are looking at. Maybe at a subsequent point of time we can discuss about what can be done about those particular cases.
Before Andrew, you reply, Dr. Shivaji has to leave his flight to catch, so we'll have to let him go, otherwise he's going to miss his flight. And a small token of our appreciation.
Can I put one question to Dr. Shivaji?
Yes, please. Sir, he wants to ask
before
one
you
question
leave,
to you.
Dr. Shivaji, I have one question. Quickly, very quickly, can you tell our audience here as to what facility the SIDBI gives for technology upgradation, because that is one of the ways of bringing competitiveness and quality in the sector. So.
See, a number of schemes are there, including what Dr. Pujari is saying, that existing SMEs, how their operation can have the technology upgradation, modernization related activity. There is a Government of India schemes which Dr. Pujari will explain to you. In addition to that, if at all you are trying to diversify the project altogether with the innovation inputs, then you can hive off with altogether a different startup unit altogether. And then you can have, because SMEs suffer from basically two things. One, quality of the product. The second is the scale, so that you can have the bargaining power in the market. The quality Obviously, it is a factor of many things which comes together. But one very important thing which comes that you can be able to minimize the cost, improve the quality with the aid and assistance of the technology. Now the second one is the scale. Like a Bombay dhaba wala, dabba wala, how they do collaboration, cluster. You can collaborate with a large number of similarly placed SME unit. You will find that your bargaining power goes exponentially up. These are the two ways you can be able to improve your competence. And then you will become globally competitive. I can tell you the advantage which we all have right now in the country, that you don't have to see far beyond for your marketing the products. Domestic market itself is expanding exponentially for all types of the products, and that there is a behavior changes which is taking place, which you can very well capture it through nothing else than these mobile phones, which has been penetrated every remote places, remote villages and everywhere. You can start putting layer and layer over this with the help of several apps, which you can give the idea, coder will provide for you. Thank you.
Nilay, there are two schemes by Government of India. One is called CLCSS, Credit Linked Capital Subsidy Scheme. Mr. Ranga Prasad is sitting here, he'll give details. Department of Industrial Promotion has started a new one called TADF, Technology Acquisition Development Fund. TADF is meant only for MSMEs, but TADF actually pays the patent cost and the licensing cost. But CLCSS will help you to acquire a new embedded technology, which means new capital on that.
Sir, can I ask a question? This issue to you, this is about the size of SMEs. One of the challenges is that our SME size is too small. And this size of SMEs, globally if you talk, these are not the sizes. It should be minimum $4 to $5 million. 50 crores is what an SME should be. So we need to somehow have a political consensus that this is the scale to go to. Below 50 crores, I don't think you can be globally competitive. So talking about globally competitiveness with this is not going to happen.
I'm sure all of you know that the MSME Development Act Amendment Bill 2015 does exactly what it says. I cannot say beyond that. It has passed the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, it is pending. The standing committee has given unanimous recommendation for this. Let us hope for the best.
Yeah. So Andrew, you were talking about the women entrepreneurs. We've forgotten about the topic.
I think it was about 15 minutes ago, wasn't it?
Yes.
Well, I mean, less really from a women entrepreneur, more from a service sector perspective. I mean, one of the things we've noticed working with our banks is that in general the service sector, has fewer assets as collateral by the nature of the activities they do. So as a result, when they go into the loan process, they will often struggle much more than some of the other sectors. So we're actually in the process of putting together a program specifically to target and support service sector MSMEs. We're working with our banks to adjust their credit criteria to allow more of these service sector MSMEs to actually get access to finance, because a lot of them today are not, given the nature of the service sector.
Okay. Do we have any more questions?
Question for Mr. Andrew. I am Dipali and I run a business since last 15 years. I need 1 crore loan. So how IFC exactly going to help me?
Can you repeat that? I didn't
how IFC is exactly going to help me to get a loan?
So, as I mentioned, very good question. We work through our financial intermediaries. We work through the banks, the MFIs, the MBFCs. So our role is in each of the tiers that I just mentioned, identify at least one or two of these financial institutions to actually develop a specific proposition for women that takes into account the fact often they don't have the collateral, they're often young businesses, there's often a need to adapt existing credit programs to allow women access. And I don't mean just about giving them a subsidized rate. I was in one of the top private sector banks the other day, and we did an analysis of their credit applications, and of every 12 applications that came in from women entrepreneurs, 11 of them were rejected. And that rejection rate was 4 times higher than the men, like for like. So it just shows you that, there is a clear need. And these are the same banks that are saying, actually, women are really good credit risk. They really do repay a lot better than the men. This is the same bankers talking, and yet, the rejection rate on loans is almost 4 times worse for women. So our role is to help, with our finance institutions we're working with, help them develop something specific for you. And the idea, and what I hope in the next few months, is you're going to see several private sector organizations really coming out with something very special for you as a woman entrepreneur that you can access easily. Okay?
Yeah, go ahead. Myself, Sharan from Gulbarga. Actually, as Madam told earlier, we are importing more on electronic goods as India is importing, and we have a lot more opportunities in 2020 actually. But have we prepared for that actually? Our young entrepreneurs are ready for that actually? And one more thing is that every year from Karnataka, 10,000 students in electronic communication, they are passing out. They are shifting their branch from electronics to computer, like they are taking the course and they are joining IT companies in Bangalore. But what about the electronics in Karnataka, where we stand, and how can we give our contribution towards the electronics goods manufacturing? Whether we have any incubation center that supports government to come up with our products, or any supports which we can take up and we can plan up our industry in Karnataka in terms of electronics?
I totally agree with you that many students are not getting into manufacturing. Most of them, after engineering, go into management, go do their MBA and prefer a corporate job to working on shop floors into manufacturing. But I think manufacturing over the past few years is also changing. No longer the shop floors are sweaty and hot and things which were there earlier. We are also changing. There's a lot of automation into manufacturing. It is changing. So it's important that students also come forth and go about setting up enterprises in the manufacturing sector, one. And more importantly, there are a large number of business incubators that are coming in, which are providing space. But in electronics, you will need technology business incubators where you also have the facility for developing a product, innovating, developing a product, and then taking it to commercial scale of operation. There are a lot of innovation projects that are there in colleges. You need to look at that. And CLIC per se is now trying to set up its first technology business incubator in the country here in Bangalore for electronics and renewable energy products. We hope today we've signed the MOU with the Austin Technology Institute, University of Texas. If all things go well, then we will have that institute here, and you make use of such technology business incubators. So I think there is a positive trend. You need to look at it and spread the word around that manufacturing is still very good. If I've survived for 30 years, I'm sure, you all can do much more.
Just to add to what ma'am is saying, manufacturing, electronics, medical electronics in some sectors is where there is still scope. But take the case of the Apple phone. I'm sure these figures may have come to you, but let me repeat. An Apple phone is sold by Foxconn in China to Apple at $175. And it retails in US at around $500. So where is the money being made? Patent. On patent and all. Now come to that $175 of Foxconn. Foxconn incurs $168 on all the raw material cost of the phone, which is from Australia, from Japan, Taiwan. some parts come from Korea. So the Foxconn China is only making $7 on a $500 phone. So even when now Foxconn is shifting to Maharashtra, the actual game that Apple is going to play with Maharashtra is, say, we were allowing $7 in a way. $7 is so they are not going to buy from Foxconn Maharashtra at $175. They have already talked to Maharashtra, sell it to us at $172. So the space for manufacturing as a value addition, really for an economy, is because of the scale that China is doing. So actually, believe me, manufacturing without innovation is a zero-sum game. So what we are trying to say, don't think that you can again do that big, just the solder and, that typical manufacturing is all I will do. No way. If you can't innovate, if you can't make new products, there is no way you can survive on manufacturing. So in India, the game is to marry the IT, the brain power, with the hardware. If you are good in the soldering, the manufacturing, you're an electrical, electronic, partner with an IT guy. Both of you get together, create new products. That's the way forward. Purely manufacturing, extremely challenging.
One more question to Government of Karnataka. Whether we have any electronics park like textile park, food park and other park like IT park. So any opportunities for the electronics guys also, so government is ready to help us?
We already have an electronic city.
I think we will answer this question after this session, but let some others also have a chance. We will request you to restrict to one question, no supplementary questions.
Just a second, ma'am.
Yes. This is regarding the point stated by Mr. Mathur about how you need to be very innovative to be competitive. But that works for a end consumer product when you have a B2C game. You can play a lot of games within your system where you are coming up with innovations to make money, make business out of pittance money, right? They fit in margins. But let's say you are in the business where you are a sub-supplier. You're a supplier to a larger company, especially for products that, they're capital products which cost like in the multiples of crores. It's not easy for an SME to become a product like CG or Siemens or ABB, right? So you are a supplier. In such when you are a supplier to a larger company, you can't really play such games. You have a limitation. Costing that you would have set 10 years ago is still existent. You have inflation, all your fixed costs, all your, labor costs and everything, rental, everything is inflated. But when it comes to your margins, customers just do not want to give you. They're still trying to squeeze you. So how can SMEs survive in traditional markets like automobiles, like motor manufacturing, something that has already been set in place and the rates are only going low and not high?
You asked the question and you gave the answer. You didn't realize that. You gave the answer. First, you said that how can a small or a medium or a micro person fight with or survive against competition? Kindly sit down. From a very big company like Siemens and things like that. Didn't you mention that? Now, when Motorola was there, where was Apple? Apple, it also started in a garage and then it came up. So therefore, remember what Dr. Shivaji said in the beginning, that everybody, whether you talk about Reliance, whether you talk about Adani's, whether you talk about Tata's, they were an MSME to start with. They grew to that level. It is true that there was a very high failure rate also, but they did grow to that. Then again you talked about auto. In India today, if we become a very competitive, high technology auto component supplier to the world, it is because of MSMEs, because of micro and small units. They are the people who understood what Mr. Mathur said, that innovate, be at the top, and they became the original equipment manufacturer for all world-class automobile companies in the world. They survived. All of them are doing pretty well. So competition will always be there. This competition is something we shall not be scared of.
So my question is, My question was a little different. What I was trying to say is certain areas you cannot be an Apple. There are only few players in this world, a handful of them. Not every MSME can become an Apple, right? So we are talking about sub-suppliers. So when you are a sub-supplier, you will still be a sub-supplier.
You will answer this, but because I talked about Apple, because Apple you understand. I did not talk about Umar Reddy. I can talk about Jyoti Balakrishnan should be sitting somewhere there. I could talk about Mr. Dixit, because these are the people whom I have seen and see how they are successful. But to you to make a point, Apple might hold a great thing. I'm sorry if that is the thing.
Oh, no problem. And I want to fine-tune my question.
I understand your question, so can I? Because I'm in the same boat year on year. I supply to large number of MNCs, and every MNC, believe me, at the beginning of the year, come back and say, how much percentage discount are you going to give this year? And we have to, there is no choice. Margins are getting thinner and thinner. But remember that if I'm surviving here today, we need to keep on innovating. There was a time when I would manufacture about 500 transformers a day in a line. They would go to the winding, from winding it goes for the finishing, the termination, the soldering and the final taping. Now things have changed. I have a conveyor mechanism for that 500. That 500 became 2,000. So how does that get? Because you keep innovating, you keep providing small automation within the organization for your own existence. Yes, that's one part of it. So with the support, if my customer never asked for it, believe me, I would have changed. I would have had the old system of manufacturing. Why do I do it? Because I know come January or come April, my customer is going to come back and say, how much better are you gone? So I'm always looking for new suppliers. I'm already looking for alternate suppliers. I'm looking at where I can go cost down. How can I combine my skill strengths of my staff so that they can combine and provide services? So you're always working at it. Yes, it's difficult, and that's what actually pushes you to do things. But at the same time, as SMEs, if you're in the component business, we need to change. I mean, if I find that there's no more a reason for me to exist in this, I'm not into the large quantity manufacturing. I prefer development. I supply products which are development products. My margins are higher. I know the ABBs and the Siemens will not go to China for the development. They would rather have it somewhere close by. So I have a higher margin there, which cross-subsidizes my other manufacturing where my margins are low. But that keeps my bread going, and then there is a butter that comes somewhere. So I think it's all about managing it.
So concluding comment from Professor Suresh.
Yeah, I just have a short answer to you. Like, coming from an entrepreneurship perspective, I think what you could do is, like, I'll give you two examples. Like, you need to really look for new market which you can leverage your experience. Like, you know a lot, you know so things can be done, but when you're looking for a new market, look for something that you could really address. Like, for instance, they say there's something called exaptation. When birds' feathers came in, they were not used for flying. They were actually used for cooling the body. And later on, they realized they could also fly with that, right? So, look around. Like, there's no easy answer for your question. But the answer will again have to come from yourself in terms of, like, how could I actually leverage my skill set and look for new problems where nobody else is solving, keeping my experience in mind, right? That's a very simplistic answer to a slightly more complex, but then perhaps
So I want to close this with just one point. I agree with everything, but there's one thing. Sometimes competition is very unhealthy, and there should be certain regulations to check this unhealthy competition.
So we will have a lot of questions. Some of the panelists will be around, but some of the panelists have to travel. So we will have to close this session. And can I just request? We can.
I have one question.
So we can, if you can give a token of appreciation to Andrew, so he can leave because he's got a flight to catch. Thank you so much. Yeah. So that's why I was. So can we just have a last couple of one or two questions? Yeah, please go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Madhu. I represent Sandur Laminates Limited. I represent Sandur Laminates Limited. We are promoted by Sandur Manganese Iron Ores Limited. located in Sandur, the most industrially backward place in Karnataka. And my question to you, sir, is our company invested in Sandur Laminates Limited way back in 1993 in manufacturing of copper clad laminates. Within 2 years, because of the government policy, because of a lot of imports from China, our product was not sold, and our OEM customer who was in US also declined to take our product, and because of that we underwent into so much of trouble. And today, because of the drive in the management, we have converted the whole factory to manufacture solar modules, solar PV modules. Back of my mind, I always get to the same thing. What if government policy changes and I come back to the same tomorrow? Of course, people talk so big about the solar module today. But what if the same history, what I experienced in copper clad laminate should not repeat? And how does the government take care of sectors like MSME who have invested now, and within 2 years we are sort of getting into a big trouble?
So you're a solar panel manufacturer?
Yes, sir.
You know, the Prime Minister has led the International Solar Alliance. Are you aware of that?
Yes, sir.
At the COP, so under the International Solar Alliance, 121 countries come under the Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, 121 countries, they are members. Now this is something fantastic, a huge opportunity for all these 121 countries to be tapped and encouraged to set up solar, standalone, whatever that country's appetite is. And Government of India has got the schemes I mentioned, lines of credit. So if you are a solar panel manufacturer, I encourage you to become a global exporter. Don't try to only fight for the India market. In India market, there is big competition. But you go and do a solar project in Mali. One gentleman here was talking about Kazakhstan. Now, these are countries which may need a solar panel manufacturer like your good self. So the global market is being opened up by Indian government initiatives. So follow Indian government initiatives. There is a pattern there is a design to this whole strategy, and Indian companies should make most use of it. Okay?
Thank you. But companies like me who are in this
this is not the time for solar, but there are opportunities, and the government is putting in serious money to see Indian companies gain. But they have to be competitive. See, you can't be hoping to overcharge over, let's say, Chinese solar panel manufacturer. You will have to be competitive.
Okay, thanks.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good evening,
Rajesh
sir.
here. Is it this working?
I am representing the local innovators. Sir, I myself a very small innovator. In 2002, I developed an electric two-wheeler before the China's two-wheelers came into the Indian market. And in 2003, I made electric tricycle. In 2004, I made electric car. And in 2006, I made electric auto rickshaw before the China's auto rickshaw came into India market. When I showed it to the people when green auto rickshaw was flagged off, why can't this auto rickshaw cannot be flagged off, which runs 100 kilometer at 10 unit of electricity, that is 50 rupees, 100 kilometer, but it has not been supported. See, I am representing all these local innovators. There are hundreds and thousands of local innovators whose innovators are going in vain. The government is not helping. Whichever the department he goes, he reaches, he gets no result. His efforts will not be fruitful. So, what will be your answer? What you are going to do for the local innovators? I am very much disappointed. I have traveled, for your reference, I have my solar car here. That I have traveled 6,000 kilometers in my handmade solar car. So, if in a handmade solar car, if I can travel 6,000 kilometers, recently, I came 10 days back from Bangalore, participating in India Science, in the India International Science Festival, Delhi, IIT Delhi. So, we are very much disappointed. So, in what way you are going to help the innovators like this? What are the innovations? What make in the colleges now that remains in the college campus only? Our innovations, what has made, it has come to the... No, so we want your answer, we want your support. Thank you, sir.
Sir, adding up the same question, I am Rajesh, I am actually a new entrepreneur. I'm just adding up the new question. The same question I'm just going to continue. See, I believe that we have to explore something new to come up in the business. So what I did was, so I started exploring new energy. That it's not a new energy. I started exploring tidal energy, which is very much required for Karnataka or India, where we are peninsular in region. So I started going to Cradle. So there was no department for Cradle, and there's no policy to set up. Then I made a report and showed to bank with CDTMS scheme. They said this scheme cannot be offered until unless you give some collateral. So what is the fun? I wasted my 2 years. So instead, if I might have gone for a job, I might have earned money. So being an entrepreneur, I did not earn anything. And you said that innovation will help. Innovation will help in which way? There is no policies for new energy, new system, free energy. There's a lot of things that we are ready to explore, but we don't have the right platform to showcase. So I just want somebody to answer me. The same energy. Thank you.
Hello. I have answer for you. See, I am an entrepreneur. When I wanted to entrepreneur, I wanted to study first. So you should take a challenge every time, and you should see the market. Market is commercial market. Not you will not support. Anybody will not support us. We should think. We should do for what market is want. So when I am a small man, I don't have anything. I sold my house and completed my BE. When I wanted to do the large-scale testing, I have went 1,000 banks. Nobody supported. Then we went for a MSME scheme, that Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana loan. Within 2 years, loan I have returned back. Yeah, that subsidy I have returned back. Then manager asked where I should send. Nobody sent back subsidy. Then 10 lakh I have taken. Within 5 years, I have taken 3-4 crore rupees. They have recommended for 3 to 5 crore. Now, same situation came. Situation is changed every time. Every 2 years, situation is changing. Opportunity, we should find out the opportunity, and we should shoot for this one. So, government will not come any policy for this.
Okay. Gentlemen, please sit down. No supplementary questions. I think he has reasonably answered your question. Okay, then we can have a bilateral dialogue out of this room. Just a second. You see, between innovation and translating innovation into business, which Mr. Kadapa just mentioned about it, there's a whole journey that needs to be done. And there's a whole skill set that are required to convert innovation into business. When we are talking about globally competitive MSMEs, we are talking about creating innovation and converting it into a business challenge, converting it into the market, understanding market and going beyond that. For all the innovators, in fact, Mr. Kadapa himself has been an innovator. He has had the skill set to convert innovation into business. And there was no dearth of scheme. There are no dearth of schemes. Did you face any problem in the dearth of schemes? Did you find that there were no schemes to support you? There are a lot of schemes which are available. You need to understand which scheme you need to access for what type of business you want to do. That's the point that we are trying to make, and which Mr. Kadapa also has made. I think we'll take the last question. The lady wanted to ask a question. And because, the time we are running out. No supplementary question, sorry. There has to be a little decorum.
Good evening on the stage of dignitaries. My name is Lata. I came from Mysore. So, this is for Pujari sir. ನೀವು ಆಗ್ಲೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ನೀವು ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ನಾನು ಈ ಕನ್ನಡದಲ್ಲೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಸೊ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಈಗೆಲ್ಲನೂ ನಾವು ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಪವರ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ. ನಾನು ಸುಮಾರು 7 years ಇಂದ KDP ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಗೆ 25 lakhs ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಅರೌಂಡ್ 30 members ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾನು 2000 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಮಗಳ ಜೊತೆ ಬೆಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ. ಇವತ್ತು 35 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 20 ಮೆಂಬರ್ಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಸಿಡ್ಬಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ನನ್ನ ಇದನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟೆ. ನಾನು ಕೂಡ DFRL ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದು ತಗೊಂಡು ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ತಗೊಂಡು ಇವತ್ತು ಬರೀ ಗ್ರಾಮೀಣ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ಕ್ಲಸ್ಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿ ಆ ತರದ್ದು ಮಾಡಿ ನಾನೀಗ ಸಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಬಟ್ ಸಿಡ್ಬಿಯಿಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ KDB ಇಂದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಿಂದನೂ ನನಗೆ ಇವತ್ತವರೆಗೂ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲ ಓನ್ ಆಗಿ ನಾನು ಚಿಕ್ಕದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಇವತ್ತು ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾನು ಬಂದಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪೇಪರ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಹೋಗಿ ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ಯಾರು ಕೂಡ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಇವ್ರು ಏನ್ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅದೇ ತರನೇ ನಾನು ಇವತ್ತಿಗೆ ಈಗ ಒಂದು 3-4 ಮಂತ್ಸ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಮೈಸೂರಿನ DC ನನಗೆ ಕರೆದು ಅದನ್ನ ಈಗ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮಾತ್ರ ನಂಗೆ 15 lakhs ಒಂದು ಯೂನಿಟ್ಗೆ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಕಷ್ಟಪಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಇನೋವೇಟಿವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ, ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೀವಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಯಾರು ಏನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಯಾರ ಹತ್ರ ಕೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ಫುಟ್ಬಾಲ್, ದಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್. ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ದಿಸ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಸರ್. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
ಅಮ್ಮ, ನಾನು ಒಡಿಶಾದಿಂದ ಬಂದಿದ್ದೇನೆ. ಒಡಿಶಾ ನಾವು ವಾಪಸ್ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಸಹೋದ್ಯೋಗಿಗಳು, ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲ ನೆಂಟರು ನನಗೆ ಇದೇ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಜಮೀನು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಒಡಿಶಾಲಿ ಯಾಕೆ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಏನು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಅಂತಾರೆ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಲ್ಲಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದವರು ಎಲ್ಲಾ ತರಹದ ಸಹಾಯತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ ಮೇಲೆ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದ ಸಣ್ಣ ಕೈಗಾರಿಕಾ ಉದ್ಯಮಿಗಳು ಬಹಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಒಡಿಶಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿ ಟೈಮ್. The minister is here, the secretary is here. If your allegation were 100% correct, then the KIADB today would be flush with vacant land. KIADB lands are also given to somebody. Your complaint is that why was it not given to you, given to me, and why it given to somebody else? Because no matter what is the type of criterion for selection we keep, there would always be some people who will get it, some people will not get it. This is not to justify this. I feel genuinely unhappy that a young lady like you has been wanting a site and has not got it. We are a society of shortages. Within that shortage we manage, and still the excellence comes out of that. You and I both have 24 hours at our disposal. It is your choice and my choice. Out of that 24 hours, the 12 or 13 hours that I am awake, shall I be grieving or shall I be laughing? Shall I be passing on good news or shall I only be lamenting what I have not been able to do? If I choose that I have not been able to do as Secretary to Government of India several things that I could not do, I will make myself and everybody else more miserable. Let us accept what it is. But if you think there was some reason why injustice was done to you, I can tell you on behalf of my friend Nilay and the minister, it will be redressed. But suppose you say, I did not get it, somebody else who got it, I do not know why, but I did not get it, there is no answer to that, madam. We do not have unlimited resources. We have limited amount of things available. Somebody gets it, he or she never thanks us. Somebody does not get it, no matter which meeting we go to, we get shouted at.
Okay. Excuse ma'am, no supplementary question. Archana, I think we have very distinguished, please madam, your personal issues if they are there, we can discuss after outside of the room. Just a second. Yeah, we will close quickly, but since Mr. Sayers is here, I would like to quickly ask you, how has Chile handled MSME competitiveness? Since you have worked in Chile as an advisor to the finance minister, how has that country industrialized so fast and how has it handled trade and competitiveness?
Thank you so much. Let me first answer by saying that I think that many of the questions and issues that were discussed during this afternoon are also present in Chile. And I don't think that the reality that we confront here is very much different from Chile. For instance, how do you become an independent SME? How do you become an SME which does not depend on the lead firm? So certain research for instance, has shown that in the case of Chile, many SMEs that were able to become exporter at a competitive level, at the beginning started working for providing services or inputs to lead companies. So we need to use these lead companies as companies that teach us a lot, and we are able, through that process, to become independent. Also, the SMEs follow many of the investors, the Chilean investors that started investing abroad in the region. Many, the accountant companies, the engineering companies follow them as clients as well as other providers. So I think that together with a very intense and important emphasis on quality and become quality exporters, this explains a lot of the success that we can see. But as I said, I mean, what we have heard today in the afternoon is shared by many companies, SMEs, both in Chile and Latin America more broadly. Thank you so much.
So I hope this discussion will be going very good. I request you, any of your doubts or queries, any problems, you send to mail our secretary. We will discuss our officials and you communicate later. Any of your problem, you directly send to mail. Thank you.
So with this we conclude, because we have already overachieved on the time. Would request Mr. Mohsin to please come on stage and present the token of appreciation, starting with our Honorable Minister. So a round of applause, please. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great evening and have a great sessions at Invest Karnataka for the next few days. Thank you and good night.